Good evening. Good evening. Looking for my dear friend Michelle. She should be on here soon, and then I can welcome her into the room and we'll get started. Tonight we're going to be doing world predictions, Zodiac predictions for 2023. And I've invited one of my dear friends, Michelle Marie from Astrological Tarot. And you can check her out. She's an amazing Vedic and Western astrologer who I found and followed here on TikTok. And we became good friends over the last little bit. And I've been joining her in her broadcasts over the last year and have loved working with her. So I invited her to do this with us. And I'm quite sure you'll like her too. She's a beautiful soul. So when she comes on, you'll all get to meet her. Hello, everyone, all my subscribers especially. Thank you very much. I have some awesome news for you. I'm going to be putting up a whole bunch of things that I've been doing on a Patreon account. And for those of folks that get to, for those folks who are interested, you can join us as a member and you'll have access to a whole bunch of things that I've been putting out, including learning the tarot. Okay, so that's a thing I do. I've been teaching the tarot for over 30 years and I've been doing it online for the last 5 years. So you're more than welcome to think about joining us to learn tarot. Or you can do the Patreon and you'll get a little bits and snippets of things that I'll put on there. Gave me a good idea with what was TikTok doing regarding the subscriptions. And I so appreciate all of you who are and have been following me with those subscriptions. I look forward to it. I look forward to it every time I see someone who has joined. So thank you. It gave me the good idea to do this thing with Patreon. So, actually, someone else gave me the good idea and I just finally decided it was the right time to do it. And that was for you, Andrew, because I know you gave me the good idea, my love. Anyway, the other thing that you might want to know about in terms of news is this. On January 21st, I believe it's January 21st. Oh my goodness, Tamara, I think it is. January 21st is when I'll be doing our first White-Wolf Coven on Zoom. Now, I'm going to broadcast it both on TikTok and on Zoom. But those people that are already joined and are on Zoom will also have a few different things initially. This will be my first broadcast like this. And the reason we're going to do this is because I don't like to be censored very much. And I'm sure a lot of you out there really don't like to be censored either. And here my girl comes. And so if we do this, the types of work that we do, if we do ritual and ceremony on Zoom, we won't get censored. So it'll be so much more fun, and we'll have a lot more experiences to enjoy. Hello, my friend.
Hello, I'm just trying to get my camera going here.
All right, you do that. I'll just finish up
Right.
sharing. I'll just finish up sharing this. So for those of you interested, the White-Wolf Coven will do its very first Zoom session. You can go to my website at tamareWhite-Wolf.com and go to the workshop area or to one of the blogs that say White-Wolf Coven, and there's a link there. And then you just go register, and then also you would go back and pay $5. That's all it is $5. And you can come, and it'll be a 1.5 to 2 hour gathering. And it'll start on January 21st. And then you'll see all the fun things that are going to be happening. We'll be teaching all kinds of witchy, wonderful things, sharing astrology, sharing tarot, sharing herbal information. You got it. We're going to share it. And I'll have guests and all kinds of fun things. So please, please consider joining the White-Wolf Coven online, TamaraWhite-Wolf.com. And don't forget to spell that. What's that?
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize I could hear you. Sorry.
That's all right. All right, can you get your face in there, my friend?
I'm working on it. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no trouble. No trouble. It just takes a few minutes. Thank you for the follows, everyone. Another thing you could do that's so helpful is to share the video, share this live, and also to tap the screen. Because I know if you tap the screen a whole bunch of times, you just sort of keep tapping. See how the hearts are coming up? I don't know. Can you see those hearts? It says Spirit Talk sent you guys a bunch of likes. This is a bunch of love and likes that I'm sending to you. And if you do that, it does push it into the algorithm and we get a whole bunch more people joining in. And since this is going to be a really, oh my God, she got on. Hi.
Hey, sorry, it's my first time on TikTok, and I was like, I saw that it was subscribe only, and so I was trying to figure out what to do, but thank you for the invite.
Of course. Welcome here, my friend. Welcome here. So this, everyone who's in the room, is my dear friend Michelle Marie from Astrological Tarot. And she and I met a long time ago now. I don't even know when. But we met, was about a year, half a year. I don't even know now. What was it, Michelle?
It was about a year ago, believe it or not. Yeah, I
Yeah,
found you on TikTok, and you found
yeah.
me, and we just connected. It was great.
Yeah, I've met a couple of beautiful people here on TikTok that have become real friends. And it's very nice to know that I can make friends like this and that they still be super meaningful to me. How about
Yeah,
you?
me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I This is how I basically got back into the community, was through Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, and yeah, I like you. I had worked in a shop and metaphysical clinics and all of that, and COVID really forced a lot of us to do everything online. So it's
Yeah.
actually expanded my network, and I got to meet fabulous people like you and
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
readings together and network. It's been a lot of fun.
So, can you tell us all a little bit about you? I don't know who knows about me, but I'm very curious. I'd like you to just give us a little quick little bio about Michelle.
Okay, well, my name is Michelle Marie. I am both a Western and Vedic astrologer. I've been studying Western astrology since I was 9 years old. Professionally, I've been doing it since 2001. Vedic astrology, I started that a little later in life. I began in 2017 at the start of my Saturn Mahadasha, which is a difficult period in my life. And it
Mm.
made me really dig deep astrologically to find out what was going on. And so I got into that. And so I've taken 3 years of professional courses through the Camilla Academy of Vedic Sciences. I'm in my fourth year this year, and I absolutely love it. I am also a tarot and oracle card reader. I am certified in that as well. I started taking classes and delving really deeply into it during my divorce in 2013, because when we're stressed out and undergoing a lot of traumas and um, just dealing with the yucky stuff in life, our intuitions, just mine at least, goes out the window. And so I needed my cards, I needed spirit, I needed help from my guides during that time. And they were really clear about what was going on and really helped me. And so I incorporated tarot into my practice, my astrology practice. So, and I found that they work really well together.
It's interesting because I was also talking to Tara Green, who will be on tomorrow night with me. And we were saying how we came at the things from different perspectives. Like I came at this, I mean, tarot was first and then I went to astrology. So I sort of see myself as a backyard astrologer.
Mhm.
And you went the other way. You started with astrology and then went to tarot. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
Yeah.
You're an awesome listener, Tamare.
Yeah, yeah. And also I noticed that like for me though, I have always been interested in the this realm. I mean seriously, my whole life. How
Hmm.
about you?
Are you talking about the realm of Earth?
Yeah, and really,
Hmm.
I remember sitting in a sandbox finding a grub, and I held it in my hand. It was see-through, those ones that you could see
Hmm.
through and that. And I remember holding it in my hand, and I remember realizing I was seeing the whole universe inside this being. I must have been 6. And
Wow.
I remember that connection with the earth that day. I have always been somehow mystified and aligned with the earth and the universe. And she speaks to me, and the sky speaks to me. I see the sky more as the mother, as the father, and the earth more as the mother. And in my native teachings, that's what I've learned too. So it's sort of, really, it's a really interesting connection when you really love the universe. And I really, really do love our world, and I care about it in a way that this is why I called you to help, because I know that we're in for a heck of a year.
Yes.
I know we are. And I want to do whatever we can do to make it easier. And having said that, A heck of a year doesn't mean an absolutely terrible year, but it sure means one that we will never forget. If you think you remember 2020 for COVID, wait till you realize what 2023 means to you personally. And this is going to be one hell of a good year for many. But honestly, I think the whole world's going to have a shakedown. What do you think? Tell me what you think. Let's get started.
Well, for us today, I'm just telling everybody I pulled the Be Candid card from the Whispers of Ganesh. So Tamara gives it to you real, so am I. And the reason we're candid is so that you can prepare for these events and you can do the spiritual remedies that are necessary to work through them. Okay, that's the big part of my practice is spiritual remedies, and I know it's a huge part of yours too, Tamara.
Yeah.
The main energy that we have going on right now is a full moon in Punavarsu. So in the Vedic calendar, and just to let you guys know, Vedic astrology goes by the sidereal calculation. So when I say Aries, Taurus, Cancer, etc., it's based on your sidereal sign. And if you're not sure what that is, subtract about 25 degrees, and that'll give you the sign. Like for instance, um, in Western astrology, I am a very beginning of Leo, but in Vedic astrology, I'm in the middle of Cancer. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind as I go. But anyways, Purnavarsu, it's a really amazing thing. You were talking about like you felt like you were here, and this was very you're very connected to the earth. Well, Purnavarsu struggles to be here a little bit. This is a Gemini kind of based energy, okay? And it emphasizes their ability to live and access multiple levels of manifestation while still in the human body. So they can travel to different astral planes of existence, especially in the dream world or in their daydreams. And their ability to transcend planes can cause a lot of restlessness. So if you guys are having dreams tonight where it's like, what was that? It's because this is kind of a restless full moon, and you might be receiving messages from the higher realms that aren't meant to uproot you, but rather to guide you here on the earthly plane. They're not here to uproot us. We exist on many different planes of manifestation, but we need to be grounded here because that's where the body is. This is where our lessons are taking place. Okay,
And this is
so
the wolf moon as
it
well.
is, it is.
And so that when we look at that, and it's in Cancer, this full moon, right?
Yes, it spans Gemini and Cancer in Vedic, but it's in Gemini in the Vedic calendar, and it's in Cancer.
So
And
how does that differ from the Cancer? Can you explain that for me?
well, basically, when it goes, because Purnavarsu goes through both Cancer and Gemini, because there are 27 nakshatras and there are 12 signs, so some can span more than one sign. And what that means is Punavarsus are highly spiritual because they're just coming out of another realm and they're making the earth their home. At the end of Punarvasu, when they enter Cancer, they're much more settled and they're able to create some roots, start family, connect with the earth. But at the beginning of Punavarsu, which is that more Gemini energy, they struggle to stay grounded here. And a lot of that is because they're still searching for their destination, where they feel like their home is. So a lot of people with Punavarsu and Gemini, they travel a lot, they experiment with a lot of things. Because settling down is pretty difficult, but they find their grounding by serving as a guide for other souls.
And
So by
with this,
connect,
with sorry, with this moon being in Cancer and or Gemini, and we look at it being also in the time of a retrograde, Mercury retrograde,
yes.
it would cause a whole lot of confusion about where to go, where to stay, who to talk to, who to trust, how to get out of energy. I could see it being a very very watery, very crybaby, very angry and crying all at the same time, and then flipping flopping back over to, okay, we got to talk this out, we got to communicate, we got to figure it out, and then back to the, oh my god, you make me so mad, and none of that kind of energy. I can feel it around me. So
Oh,
yeah,
indeed,
it's
Butterfly
happening.
says, making it a very emotional moon. Yes, this can be a very emotional moon. And a lot of that is because, you may feel disconnected from your celestial home and you can wander around quite a bit before you find your true earthly identity. So if you're not grounded here, the emotions take over and they
Yeah.
can kind of overpower you.
Yeah, and if you
Um,
have any Mercury predominant things, like I have Virgo in my ascendant, which is Mercury as well, you're going to feel it even more, and you're going to be drawn. You're going to go flip flopping. Hey Dee, by the
mhm.
way, thank you for the subscribe and thank you for joining us. We appreciate you here, my friend. Dee Garcia is also another psychic and witch friend of mine, just so
Oh,
you know. And I see your subscription. So nice, so nice. Thank you. And she just had a fire. Her husband
oh,
and her had a fire in their home, lost their kitties. And so she knows about the difficult times that we are all experiencing in some way or another right now. And
mhm.
I know it, I feel it. So please continue. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, basically, under this full moon, the things that you can do to ground yourself is to do your spiritual remedies, whatever
Yeah.
those may be, whatever practice that you follow, whether it's if you enjoy reading a spiritual text or you enjoy doing yoga asanas, or there's some breathing techniques that you can do to ground yourself. Anything to make you feel like you are connected to the earth can really help with this energy. Oh, and Deep Butterfly says, love you. She's so sweet.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, the name of this star means brilliant again. And you mentioned Mercury, Tamir, and your Mercury is in Punavarsu. So you have the ability, your Mercury, which is your throat chakra, has the ability to take things from other realms and bring them into the earthly realm as they need to
I
be.
do it all the time.
Yep. Yep. And my let's see, my Mars is in Punavar. So and Mars and Mercury are both retrograde right now. So
Yeah.
this has been a major time of reflection and review. And like I said, Mars is going to go direct on the 12th and Gemini on the 18th. So that's when we can start to feel a flip. But on those days, oh gosh, especially on the 12th, if you guys feel like your energy is just out the window, it's because Mars is basically stationary in the sky and he's not moving too quickly.
Which will also lend us to being very determined, to be very stubborn, to stand at our ground,
Mm-hmm.
even if some reason finds you, you still may not want to give it up or give it out. And so you really got to test yourself and say, is this me being whisked away by the planets, or is this
Mm-hmm.
me, excuse me, managing myself through the planetary energy? So I guess what. Oh, thank you, Dee. I guess what we're saying
Absolutely.
here is it's really important to manage yourself. Really important to stay stable. Thanks,
Mm-hmm.
Dee. And to, find solace in your home. You were saying that, to do the healing things that you can do and to stay grounded would be herbal teas as well, right? Herbal packs in your bed, in your tub, in your bath, these
Mm-hmm.
types of things. Let's see, writing, journaling,
Mm-hmm.
because we're talking about Mercury and communication and that kind of stuff. So yeah, there's a meditation. These are the things that will help calm that spirit that's not feeling so great at this
Mm-hmm.
time. So can we sort of jump into what's the climate for the whole year? What do you think the climate is for the whole year?
Well, we've got some big energies coming our way. Like I said, the main things this month that you're going to need to watch for is when Mercury goes direct, and that will be on the 18th. Don't do anything big on that day because wait for Mercury to speed up a little bit. Same thing with Mars on the 12th. Okay, don't try to do anything action oriented. Really watch where you're stepping, what you're doing, because Mars is very action oriented, and you got to watch where you're going, avoid accidents, things like that.
Mm.
Um, but the huge, huge energy is on January 17th. In the Vedic calendar, Saturn is going to be moving out of Capricorn, which gave us COVID, and into his sign of Aquarius. Now, in the Western calculator, this would be ruled by Uranus, which can represent upheavals, the collective, etc. And you and I were talking about this, Tamir. Revolution is coming.
I know,
You
I
can
know, I
feel it.
know, I know
I
it,
can feel it.
I know it.
Yeah. And
And
that's
I
what
was
Saturn in
talking to Tara
Aquarius
last
does.
night. I was talking to Tara last night, and then today, doesn't she post on her page that energy shifted and will be shifting hard over the next little while, and it's all related to what I've been saying, what I've been feeling, what I
Hmm.
what I predicted at the beginning of the year because I saw it. I
Yep.
saw the energy moving. I actually dreamt about it in 2020. 2021, I dreamt about it. So here we are. We see revolution energy coming in February. Energetically, I see it starting in the United States and moving into June for Canada. What do you think of that?
Well, that does fit the astrological sense of things, because Saturn in Aquarius is all about the collective. It's opposite Leo, which is all about the king, all about the people with money. It's like, those who own the gold. The golden rule is those who own the gold make the rules. Well, Saturn in Aquarius wants to push back against that. And this is when I think the collective is going to start really starting to stand up for themselves and push
Yeah.
back against the oppressors, so to
Yep.
speak, because that's what the Aquarian energy is all about. It's about rebellion. And,
Yeah.
it's, it depends on if you guys have any planets in Aquarius, you're especially going to be affected by this. He's going to be going directly over my moon in Aquarius. And so this strikes my heart. And what he's going to do is he is going to create a battle of egos in order to create change. And
Yep.
like you
Yep.
feel it's going to start in February. I mean, I agree with you. It's the
End of
spark is going to
February,
have.
March. End of February,
Hmm.
March. But I know that the thrust doesn't come right away. It's like
No.
all of a sudden it's in a wake. We wake up and everyone's like, oh no, no more. And
Yeah.
we're going to, small groups will see it first and then it'll turn up really high. We will all know in May that we're there.
Well, that's eclipse season. So we're going to have a couple of eclipses then. And eclipses, they reveal dark secrets. They bring out lights and truths. Like, for instance, we had an eclipse in Barani of the April and May of last year. And when Barani rules the womb and the reproductive system and the woman's body. The moment that came out in the United States, SCOTUS linked, they leaked all of those documents saying that they were going to overturn Roe v. Wade, and they did. So that's what eclipses do. They cause these major, major kind of secrets to come out, which then causes an upheaval. And then when we have the lunar eclipse, like, and those are usually October, November, they're in October this year and November. Let me look at the dates. No, actually, October 14th and October 28th. Those are when the resolutions start to come through.
Yes.
And the nodes are also going to move around that time as well. The nodes, the north nodes and the south nodes, which kind of change to direct the overall direction of the collective and what we're going to be focused on.
I
So
got
it's
some, I'm sorry, at the collective, I got some really weird, interesting energy coming up about the elites, especially those that
mm,
have been called out on pedophilia or any kind of swindling, any kind of weird stuff like the pedophilia and all that. Any of that weird stuff, we're going to peg a couple of people, elite people with lots of money.
mm-hmm,
So that's going to come out. I see it coming out, and that's going to affect. The reason I'm bringing it up is it's actually going to affect the whole of both our countries, especially your country.
mm,
And just so you know, Tara is in, excuse me, Michelle is in Seattle,
mm-hmm.
United States. So that's why I refer to your country that way. You're going to experience some of your elites being exposed, and rightfully, and not just
Yes.
there, but in let's say Britain, excuse me. That's another place I've noticed some exposure. That could be having to do with the monarchy, having to do with what's his name, Andrew, I think, one of the
Prince
men.
Andrew?
Yes,
Or,
Prince Andrew.
mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah,
He's going to have some splaining to do.
I agree.
Yeah.
Another really big thing that's coming is on April 19th, Jupiter goes into what's called Gandanta. And that means he's going from Pisces and into Aries. It's kind of like he's starting a whole new cycle for the collective.
Mm-hmm.
And in Aries, that could bring out some violence. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
just to warn everybody, especially because Rahu, which is the North Node, is going to be with Jupiter. And this creates something called a Guru Chandala Yoga. Now, just to give you an idea, the last time this happened was, and so basically the war between Jupiter and Rahu is on May 26th of this year. That's the peak. But we're going to feel this all the way from April through October. Okay, it's going to be a long time. So basically, what that the last time this basically happened, and I wrote some of these events down. The UK enacted Brexit. This was in 2016. The
I
last time we went
remember
through this
that.
energy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That left, and then they basically left the European Union, and it was not good for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
There was also demonetization in India, which put the country into a state of chaos because their money wasn't worth anything. Brazil and South Korea both impeached their presidents. There was a Syrian civil war that killed more than 500,000 people. Um, North Korea was carrying out nuclear missile tests directed at Japan. Russia was interfering with the United States election, and then Donald Trump was elected president.
Bam,
So, yeah, that
bam.
was a
So tell
lot of
me
intense
now,
energy.
what do you think's going to happen now? Like, which key areas are going to get hit? What do you think? With this energy, I
Um,
mean, what do you think could happen? I have a feeling that China is going to be called out. I have a feeling China's going to be called out for a bunch of things and made responsible. The thing I worry about with that, though, is if you make them too mad. China's a pretty powerful energy, and
yeah.
they have a very matter of fact. You mess with me, I'm messing with you back.
Hmm.
So I worry
Yeah.
about that, but I do see something happening with China. I also see, like I said, something in England, but not just because of the Andrew thing, but I think with the monarchy being pegged for and being called out for things, I think that puts the country in a bit of a spin as well.
Hmm. I
Hmm.
agree. And with Jupiter and Aries, I mean, Aries is ruled by Mars. And so I went to my Whispers of Ganesha and I got energetic movement. We're going to see a lot of energetic movement happening. A lot of things are going to be coming quickly, happening fast, because that's what the warrior likes to do. He likes to move, 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 go, 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 do, do, do. The only main issue that I see with that is, again, we are forming this Guru Chandala Yoga, which can make people, how do I say this without being political? It's the more right wing aspects tend to show their true colors. Like you said, they tend to just be more open and outward toward the collective and what they're doing. It's like they take they take wrong advice and they get outed.
Yeah.
And it can upset some people, but it could also it could cause some people to not not see the situation for what it is, if that makes any sense. Because that's what happened in 2016. There were a lot of people that were hoodwinked. So that's why it's important when Jupiter and the North Node form this conjunction, that we see our situation from as realistic of a perspective as possible so that we don't get sucked into the drama and we can see things for what they are.
This card popped up when I asked about the collective. And there's a couple of others I'll show you, but this may look like a little simple thing. But Possum tells us to look at everything opposite. So if
Mm-hmm.
you think it's going in this direction, stop yourself. Just stop yourself and turn around and look there, because the possibility of you missing something is very strong this year. And it's because we
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of really wise guys censoring, redirecting, creating all kinds of dramas all around us. So we're looking over there. But and it's true. I've seen it on certain posts people have made about, wait a minute, this could be a drama that's trying to take our attention away. That is actually happening. It actually is happening. They are creating circumstances that wow us and make us look that way. And in that, I think that we're going to be. The lesson is to look at things opposite of what you normally do in this year, especially, and to really take time out, pull yourself back, think it through. When in doubt,
Mm-hmm.
sit it out.
Oh yeah.
When in doubt, say nothing. And inaction is action if it's decided on,
Okay,
right?
well, you are spot on because I pulled the Ten of Air. This is the Ten of Swords for the type of energy we can expect. We're at the very end of a difficult situation. This is the rock bottom card. They've basically had enough. They've got nothing left to lose. They want to start
Yeah.
standing up for themselves. It says embrace the change, expect things to get better now, a recovery. So, I also think that this is just in the Vedic community. We've been talking about a recession coming.
Yes.
It's going to be a little different than the 2008 recession. And the reason we
Yes, it
say this
is.
is because in 2008, Saturn moved out of it was in the last few degrees of Cancer into Leo, and then he retrograded back, and then he came back into Leo. He's doing the same opposite. He's going came just toward the end degrees of Capricorn this summer. This was like April through July. And then he went retrograded back into Capricorn and he's going back into the very beginning of Aquarius this month. And my spiritual teacher and guru, she got a bunch of us together and we were talking about this. And we all came to the consensus that there will be like some kind of stagflation situation. The housing market's going to make some corrections because that's what happened last time. It's not going to look the same. But just as someone, this is I'm kind of knee deep in this because this takes place on my moon, so I'm experiencing this on a personal level. My husband and I tried to buy a house, for example. We have excellent credit. We have good money in the bank. We have great jobs, and they would not okay us. And we went to the banks and they're just like, yeah, we're just not okaying anybody right now. And it was so bizarre. So we went to our in-laws and they are really well off, like well off, and they're having trouble. So there's
Yeah.
something going on with the housing market, in my
Yeah.
opinion. I think that foreign agencies are starting to take it over. I don't know if you guys are
Yeah.
experiencing this in your cities, but they're building these
Totally.
giant
Totally.
apartment buildings filled with these like 400 to 500 square foot apartments. They're sucking out all of these single family homes, and they're basically trying to put us in these little cracker boxes and get it on both ends. And I read that both Wall Street and foreign shell companies are taking over our real estate market, and they're in cahoots with the banks to keep people from getting financed. And we're talking everybody, not just millennials, not just Gen Zers. There are people the boomers are having trouble getting like cash out refinances on homes that they owe nothing on.
Yeah.
Um, Things like
You're
that.
right.
So,
So what I have around that, just so you know, is what I have around that is that this is a time when families need to gather together, good
mm-hmm,
friends, good community members, and go at this situation together
mm-hmm,
as a group. So you can overcome some of the problems that are out there regarding housing, regarding property purchases, regarding business purchases, anything that um, because we are going into a recession, because we're literally slipping into a recession. And because of that, what we need to be doing is being really mindful and really careful. So we gather with our friends, gather with our families, with the community people that we feel confident with, and we take it
mm-hmm.
by storm that way. That's the only way we can do it. If you try to just keep on tripping through all of this troubled time on your own, you may lose money, you may lose steam, you may lose energy, you may lose confidence, you may lose your mind for goodness sakes, because you'll be working too hard too
Yep.
often. So I'm being told and stressed to work together with community, to work together with family, and to purchase and buy in. And I've heard people say, "Oh, never get involved in business with family." This is not a time to be thinking like that.
Yep.
Okay. This is not a time for that. You need to start to use your instincts. Everyone has them. And what I stress is that you go center yourself and go inside your being and ask, is this going to work out? Like I've had some very interesting things happening to me, and my natural mistrusting ways has got in my way. And I've had to sit back and go, okay, why are you mistrusting? Well, because I feel this, and this. Okay. So I identify the things I'm feeling, and then I say, okay, what about those things can I not manage? Well, I can manage all of them, I decided. And what will be the benefits, and what will be the possible, rewards at the end of the day? And I've had to go through this checklist. And as I've done that, I realized that I am looking at a major change in my life, and so will everyone else. A major change in your life. It's uncomfortable to face change like that, but it's necessary at this time. So when I go inside and I look at the whole picture, I realize that this is destiny awakening in front of me. I'm at the
Mm-hmm.
crossroads. Hecate's here. It's time to step forward, to step in, choose a path, choose a road, and not instead of being afraid, be willing to manage all of the complications and things that may come along, because they're better than sitting still and doing nothing.
I agree with you. I agree with you. That's excellent advice. And it does go along with that Aquarian energy, that Saturn and Aquarius. It's forcing us to come together as a collective and push back.
Mhm.
And the average Amazon employee is overworked, underpaid, and they're peeing in bottles in the United States. It's just
Wow.
terrible that the way these workers are treated. Um, but basically they're monitored where they go on the warehouse floor, and if they take a bathroom break or do this or do that, they get like checks, and they can have their pay cut into. I mean, it's crazy the way that these workers are being treated. And the way I think of it is, we would not have had Christmas or Thanksgiving or any of these major holidays in the United States this year without Amazon employees. Businesses
Yeah.
can't, they're not in
Isn't that the
business without
truth?
Amazon employees. If
Isn't
they
it?
sh- if they went on strike,
Thank
that would
you.
be the end. That would be the
Right?
end of packages. And I'm actually okay with that. I mean, supply chain wise, everybody stock up, get your stuff together.
Yeah.
But it's necessary. It's a necessary evil that needs to happen in order for people to start getting treated the way that they deserve to be treated. And
Hmm.
that's what that Aquarian energy is like. And it really speaks to my heart because my moon is in it. So
Right? And
I'm
and
all
it's
about
that,
the underdog.
yeah, and it's that taking that leap of faith. But
Yeah.
taking responsibility by going inside and feeling the situation out. And you got to sort of navigate it. You got to recognize nothing comes easy. I don't care what it
Yeah.
is. There's no guarantees anywhere. But you can, if you can center and feel the vibration and then sort of weigh out the odds and move forward, then this happens. And that's what this is about is, you're looking at all the different things that could possibly happen. And then you make a decision and you put yourself somewhere. You take your seed and you plant it and you
Yeah.
watch it grow and you fuel it and you nurture it and you love it, but you don't necessarily and this is the thing about money. I just want to say this because a lot of people will be facing this. The reason I'm saying it's best to collect with your and network with other people is you can help build each other up. It's just like you and I are doing right now.
Yeah.
These are
I
the
agree
things
with
that have
you.
to happen is working together, networking, not being afraid of scarcity, even though it's there. Even though it's there. So you can't go buy bread. So make it.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how, ask your friend how.
Yep.
And if you
You
don't have enough
really,
flour, ask them if they have some. And if you can't give them anything but your time, care for their child for an hour because they gave you all the stuff to make bread. These are the things we have to work with as a new world, this is the real new world order, is really knowing how to be in community. And even if you're on TikTok, you're still my tribe. You are still my tribe. Even if we don't live beside each other, these new things have to happen. And we have to know that we're all connected. China's connected to us. Russia's connected to us.
yep.
India's connected to us. We're all connected. And we have to find our way back to that if we're going to manage the next coming years. Because what I'm seeing here is the elites are going to get called out, small groups are going to form, more communities are going to come together, more opportunities going to come from that. Small pop-up businesses with pop mom and pop, they're going to do better than ever. And the more spiritual you are, and the more realistic your fees are, or your what would you call it? Um, the more realistic you are, the better. That's really all I can say. Realistic, but also hopeful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. What's really interesting is what they're trying to do, and this is my opinion to the generation that's coming out of high school and college now, is they're isolating them. They're building these tiny little apartment buildings, and they're egregiously expensive for how much people are making. Um, like just this is just an example. When I was in the early 2000s, I had a studio apartment, and all my utilities were included, and it was $400. I made $20 an hour as a nursing assistant in home. That same job now is $10 to $12 an hour, and that same exact studio apartment is $1,800. So,
And this is why you have to live with your friend now.
yep.
But I will have some good news about that. Okay? Those gouging landlords,
Hmm.
they're going to find themselves in trouble.
Well, that's where I think the recession is coming. Is
Yeah.
that's we're already experiencing it here. They upped
Yeah.
the rents in my area by $700 this year for a one bedroom, and people just left. They just
Yeah.
left. They were like, and these are Microsoft employees, these are Google employees, and they were just like, they're making okay money, and they went, but it's not enough, like
No.
to live here.
Well,
So
this card tells me that we will be experiencing a requirement to reduce our expenses, to create more things that we want, like making bread and growing your own food, by using herbs instead of allopathic medicine to help yourself
mm,
before you run to the doctor, by using old remedies, by using old ways, old known ways. That's what this is about. And recognizing there is a lot of competition out there. We do have a fair amount of competition out there, but if you just keep your, find your road, find your path, find your lane, and just stay in it. That's what I'm thinking we need to do, is find our lane and stay in it. And whatever that is, whatever your niche is, whatever your gift is in the world, or whatever you think you are good at in terms of producing, you need to find it. A lot of people are going to gather together in small groups and work together, live together, and do everything together. So I do see a lot of people coupling up. Okay. And some of it could be love affairs and relationships like that, like where real relationships are developed and love affairs are created. I see those people who are finding themselves in trouble financially really pulling together and creating solid, safe home and business. So I'm really happy to report that. That's a good thing. So I guess what I'm seeing as an overall is, yes, we're going to be facing some um, government oppression, government expectations that are difficult to meet, from taxes all the way up. Yeah, we're gonna be pissed off at our government. I guarantee those things are going to happen. But what is going to happen instead, even though that happens, what's going to happen is a more reliance on our neighbor, more reliance on our friends and on our families, and our relationships. And I think, if anything, if this nonsense with our government can bring us back together as community and be more realistic and more loving in our relationships, I'm happy to receive that. Because what I've seen recently on TikTok and Facebook, and people calling people out and hurting people, and that stuff, it's like, this is the end of it. What we're feeling right now is the end of it. January is like looking at 2022, and all the nonsense that was stirred up then is still here, and we're now going, wait a minute, we're not going into February with this nonsense. So
Mm-hmm.
I see the wiping our hands of people, of things that don't serve us, and us standing in our truth. And I do see our countries looking to take our countries back in a way where, the layman matters,
Mm-hmm.
and all people matter, all children matter. All of these kinds of things are, I think, coming out. The MMIW, I think, is going to be getting much more attention and money to be able to sort that out. And also, by the way, I'd like to point out that when they find out who's doing it, it will be sadly connected to groups that are hiding it. So it's a very similar energy as to the way the Catholics and the government got together with our residential people, and then they kind of hid it. And then we're just really seeing it now with social media and all really what happened. It's the same kind of thing that's happening with the MMIW. Exactly the same kind of thing. So it's like a government. So probably the pipelines are connected. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the pipelines are connected. And I'm not exactly sure. Pipelines, policing, these are the types of things I'm seeing here. And I don't think I'm alone in even knowing this, but I do think what I'm seeing is it's going to surface, and we're going to get somewhere with this. We're going to figure it out. So that's a good thing to report to everyone, that I think that's going to stir. We got a lot of interesting things like that that'll stir. So I see us going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, until we settle the energy into something that works for the majority as opposed to the minority, being the elites.
I
Hmm.
agree. Yeah. And the main dates that everyone needs to look for are the eclipses, because that's where the evil energy is going to be exposed.
Hmm.
Okay.
What dates are
It's
those?
important.
Let us know so we can put it in our
Yeah.
calendar
It's
and
also really
watch.
important, you guys, to look at where they occur in your chart, what house they occur in, what natal planets they're close to. And this year in the Vedic, they're occurring on the Aries Libra axis, and in October we go into the Virgo eclipses. So if you have any planets in these signs, practice caution. If your sun, moon, if your ascendant ruled by Mars, Venus, or Mercury, the eclipses will affect you personally. So that's just, we talked a little bit about this before the show. So the main dates are April 19th, 2023. We're going to experience a solar eclipse. This takes place in the nakshatra of Ashwini. Okay, the Ashwini Kumaras, like you mentioned, herbs, Tamir. These are the basically the Ayurvedic doctors to the Devas. Okay, they use basically the plants of the earth and things like that to provide cures. So you mentioned that this would be a time of going back to naturopaths, going back to our roots, going back to herbalists, etc. And that is supported by this energy. Now, the main reason I think this is going to happen is the secrets that are going to be revealed are different types of medications, things that they're putting in our food. I'm talking about the Food and Drug Administration. It's not a coincidence that it's food and drug because they make money off of us being sick. So we might find that there are maybe some metals or some bad chemicals that are coming out in our foods that are affecting children, I'm getting specifically. Um, there could be some issues regarding just health in general or where our foods are coming from, a lot of genetically modified stuff. And I really love that you said, start growing your own food. One thing that I would recommend, if you don't have a backyard, if you live in an apartment like I do, there are farm shares all over the United States, and I know in Canada as well, that you could sign up for. And every week you can sign up for this farm share. They can either deliver you a basket of fresh fruits and vegetables to your house, or you could go down and pick them up like my husband and I do. And it's organic, pesticide free, fresh, organic, local fruits and vegetables that you can start incorporating into your diet. And you can go on YouTube. You can, oh,
Whoops,
oh, we got a
sorry.
puppy situation.
I know my little girl. What do you
Oh,
want, baby girl?
she's adding to the readings. Um, but yeah, so that's on April 19th. And then on May 5th, we are going to have a lunar eclipse in Vishaka Nakshatra. Now, this is the star of purpose. This is your lunar nakshatra, Tamir. So you are an extremely purposeful person. You are, and it's the power to achieve many things in life. And you have done that. I've heard your backstory, a lot of it, and it's very inspiring. So I think this is going to be a major turning point for the collective. They're going to start to find their purpose. They're going to start to dig their heels in and start to create change within their communities, like you were talking about. Now, the next solar eclipse is on October 14th, and that again is going to be in Chitra Nakshatra. Okay, Chitra is ruled by the celestial architect, and it's the star of opportunity. So this can bring forth a lot of interesting opportunities, and it's also the power to accumulate merit. Okay, so
Stop, stop.
that's some really good energy for the collective. It's all about design. It's all about skill. It's all about purpose, and it's just a really good star for chipping away some of the dark things that are going on in the collective and revealing the truth, the light. And then the last one is also in Ashwini Nakshatra. Okay, it's a lunar eclipse, and it's going to be with the North Node, Jupiter, Uranus, and it's going to be opposite the Sun in Libra, which is Swati, Mars, Mercury, Ketu, Mandi, and Galuga. This is the big one. Big one. Something huge is going to be revealed on October 28th. A lot of secrets are going to come out. The last time we had a major eclipse that involved a bunch of planets was in December of 2019. And that was the start of Corona. So it was ruled by Mula, which is Nirti, the goddess of destruction, and we all predicted that some people were saying, oh, major climate events are going to happen. They did. Other Vedic astrologers were saying there might be some kind of a plague or a major health event in the world, and there was. Another person said, this could be a time of civil unrest, and we had major civil unrest throughout the world. So that was that energy. This energy is a little different. The Ashwini Kumaras are all about their physicians. So this is going to be something health related that's going to change the way that we eat, change the way that we view medicine. And it's the power to quickly heal and reach desires. So this could be a really good movement for herbalists, for naturopaths, for Ayurvedic specialists and technicians to really step up and start helping people with the diseases and illnesses that were caused by the foods that we're eating that aren't so clean. And
I
the
heard
drug.
something that goes with that.
Mm-hmm.
I watched a movie years ago, and it was in there called um, what was it called? Elysium or something. What was it about? It was about the world basically not being safe to live on, and they had to create a world outside of the world, and all the elites went to that world, and all the people that didn't have money stayed on Earth. Anyways, on the new world, I think it's called Elysium. and it was in the new world that they created where the elites lived. They had some sort of medic bed where you would lay down, and whatever you was ailing you, you would be repaired by this bed. It would just
Hmm.
do whatever it did, and by the time you had your moment on it, you'd get up and you're healed. So what you just said to me reminded me of this.
That's very
I
galactic.
I know, and it's
So you
kind of
think that we
crazy.
might have some new technologies come out that aren't from
Yeah.
Earth, is what you're
I,
saying.
I think that we are going to have some new technology, and I
Okay.
think there will be. Many years ago, I predicted something, and it hasn't come true. So I'll tell you what it was. And
Okay.
and I saw this happening in an Asian country first. I don't know. I get these downloads. So, anyways,
Hmm.
somebody was walking by. They open up this door. They go in. They're outside in a busy city. This is what my vision was. They go. Looks like a telephone booth, only it's round. And they open the door. They go inside. It's a cylinder, right? They go inside, and there's this thing that they pull down and put over their head. It looks like some weird thing with a bunch of wires and everything on it. And they put coins inside this thing, and it what it does is I called it the brain gym,
Hmm.
because what it did was it energized the individual. So it would be like lineups to go to it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon for people who had to work until 6, right? So they'd come out there,
Mm.
get their coffee and their muffin, and they or whatever, and then they go and put this little thing on and zap their brain and feel all energized again. So yeah,
Hmm.
I'm not sure that that's happening this year, but it will happen. And some of you who are in this room will know it way whenever it happens. And you'll go, that woman, Tamara White-Wolf, she's the one who said that was going to happen. And
There
I
you
do think it
go.
will. So I think that what we're seeing here is not only just taking back our power and doing herbal remedies and that, eating properly and other unique ways of healing will likely come to the surface through our medical sources and unusual medical things, such as maybe a medic bed, maybe a brain gym.
Oh my goodness, that's interesting that you said that. It kind of reminds me of like a cryo chamber that they have now. They have the little they have they put you in a tube and they can. I haven't done cryotherapy, but it's a new therapy that came out
I
a
don't
few
know
years
this
ago that
one.
people are using. Yeah, basically they use the power of cold to heal you, and so it's been there for a bit. Um, and brain mapping has also made a lot of shifts in the last year because many countries are focused on AI right now and developing AI, and they're using human brain mapping to achieve that. So when you said the little probes, and that's what I thought of. It was really interesting because our thoughts can heal, and if we can find a way to track the thoughts in a way that could heal the body, that would be so interesting, wouldn't it?
Right? I don't know how this is working. Is this working? I'm trying to get your face to go beside my face. I don't know what I did wrong.
Oh, okay. I'm just a tiny little box in the corner. I have no idea what I'm
I
doing.
know, and I don't want that. I want you to be bigger than that. Give me a second to see if I can't. Would you mind just talking for a few minutes about what you think is coming so that I can try to figure out what to do? I'm trying to change things for us so that you're beside
Oh,
me
yeah.
instead.
Well, I can definitely talk to you guys about Saturn.
All right, do
Because
it.
that's a big deal this year, especially if you have any planets in Aquarius, like I mentioned earlier. So you can expect some karmic challenges, some lessons, some extra responsibilities. Now, again, that these are all things that are going to help you grow. Okay, so let's say you've got an ascendant in Aquarius. Okay, what that's going to do is it's going to bring about a change in your career, big career change for you. Okay. Additionally, you may want to start thinking about how you can transition to something new that supports you and others, because that's what Aquarian energy is all about. It's all about service to the collective.
Are we talking about a
Um,
particular sign or just anyone who has this
if you
in?
have a rising in Aquarius, this is for you. And it could be in the Western, it would be a rising in Pisces as well. Okay. So end of Aquarius into Pisces. If your rising sign is there, that's going to be something big that's going to happen career wise for you. Now, if he's going over your sun, he can cause an identity crisis because Saturn rules Aquarius in the Vedic uh, astrology world, okay? But when his enemy is the sun. Okay, because the sun is all about kings and Saturn is all about the people. And so it could create some ego battles, issues with authorities, an identity crisis because you feel like the sun is telling you what to do and you know who you are already. Um, so just kind of watch what you say and do with your boss, father, government officials. Otherwise, you may suffer. You may have to, leave a situation if it's really toxic. I tell people your health is more important. Now, if Saturn is going over your natal Mars, it's really going to be difficult to get things done. My husband just went through this, and it was just like, oh my gosh, it was crazy. Um, if your efforts are blocked, really work through your frustration through doing a lot of spiritual remedies because that's really going to help you through that
I
time.
wonder how many people know that Saturn's going over their Mars.
It'd be interesting. Well, they can definitely contact me, and I can tell them.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I got just what you're saying, the rising Aquarian sign. I got the Ten of Swords, and I got it in reverse, which means that you can handle this energy. It's going to be a little bit difficult, as my friend Michelle said, but there'll be restrictions and limitations, but most of them will be the ones that are in your mind. That's what I'm being told. And that really the best thing to do at this point is to look to the horizon, or look to the positive, or look to the opportunities that this challenge may provide. So if your Aquarius sign is in rising, this year, you're saying this year may be a bit of a struggle, eh?
yeah. But it's Saturn does rule Aquarius, so you already have the mindset and the wherewithal to go through this
Yeah.
because you
What about
have the
Capricorn?
mind. You have a mind for the collective. Okay, you
What
have a
about
mind for
Capricorn with the
service.
Saturn? What about Capricorn? It's also Saturn, right?
Well, Capricorn in the Western, you're going to be moving out. It's actually Sagittarius in the Vedic. You're going to be moving out of something called sati sati. So the last almost 7 years have been very difficult for Capricorns, and especially the last 2 to 4. So you're finally going to move out of that crazy energy and into a softer energy during this time.
Yeah, I got the Judgment card. The Judgment tells me that, you've gone through the worst of it, Capricorn, and
Yeah.
you're going to be moving through this and coming out the other way. So it's like you're finally getting out of that tunnel of darkness, and
Hmm.
you're going to take all that wisdom, all that knowing, and you're going to be able to put it into something um, that you've been thinking about, something that you've been wondering about, something that you've been kind of half-ass working towards. Okay, so that's what I see there. And this one also always tells me, to look to your left and right and
Hmm.
see who's standing beside you now, because those will be the people that could be very influential and very helpful as the coming year unfolds. So you may, so is this, are we speaking about Capricorn sun signs or Capricorn rising? Or are we speaking
It
about
could be
Capricorn?
rising moon or sun because
So,
rising it affects the physical body. It could also affect where you're moving, where you're going.
yeah,
Your moon, it affects your inner emotional
yeah,
state, and your sun, it's how you project the world to
yeah.
the world, what your
So when we're
vitality.
So
Hmm.
when we're talking about the rising sign, should we say maybe sun, moon, and rising?
Oh, definitely. They're all
Yeah,
very important.
yeah.
Yeah.
So anybody who is a sun Aquarius or moon Aquarius or rising Aquarius can also reflect back to what we just said, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So any Aquarian, sun, moon, or rising, can expect to experience a very challenging yet manageable year.
Yes.
And why do you think they're going through all the challenges? What do you think that's about, hun?
Well, Saturn is the lord of our karma. And so what he does is he causes upheavals in our lives based off of past life karmas that we've done so that we don't repeat the same mistakes.
Right.
Okay.
So this is a
With every life,
clearing. So this
yes,
would
with
be a
every
clearing year.
lifetime we come into it with something called a samskara, and it's literally a scar from a past life. And
Yeah.
the point is to break up those scars and to kind of renew the tissue a little bit. And the way
Yeah.
that we do that is when Saturn comes through and he gives us a big karmic dump. And it's a lesson that's so painful that it can affect us on a soul level.
Yeah. Kind of this card here came in reverse. It kind of tells me that this is a difficult card, especially in reverse. If there's been any abuse in your life, And on a karmic level, there may have been abuse in your past karmic life, meaning you might have been an abuser in your past life if you're
Mm-hmm.
being abused in this life. If you're the abuser in this life, it's because in the past life you were the one being abused on. So you sort of go back and forth if you believe in karma, or reincarnation, or what past lives, or whatever it is you believe in. I do believe in past lives, and I think that if you've been living in oppressive and a difficult life, it's because you created that in your past. So the idea is to figure out what's happening now and put the brakes on it in order to move into what is good and right and karmically balanced, right? So what you're saying to me and what I see here in my cards is a lot of healing for the Aquarian sun, moon, and rising sign for the year of 2023. It's going to be back and forth challenges and overcoming. I see the overcoming, though. Do you?
Oh yeah, that's if you can deal with Saturn's challenges in a positive light, you can break those cycles that you were talking about. The
Mm-hmm.
cycles of abuse, the cycles of addiction, the
Mm-hmm.
cycles of wrong thinking, bad communication, whatever it is in your life, whatever you came down here to do in a human incarnation, it's to break these cycles so that you can transcend to higher levels of living and being.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the more you suffer, the more karma you get to burn off. I tell people it's a blessing to suffer because when you face the reality of your situation and you take the responsibilities that you're given seriously, you grow on a soul level. You know, the
Yeah.
place that we're living in the Vedas, this is called Mritya Loka. It's the place where all things suffer and die. And it's a beautiful place because we're able to basically chip away at all of the darkness, of all of the sorrow, at all of the family attachments and abuses and traumas, and we can leave them here with our physical body if we choose to. If we don't, we're forced to be reborn until we do let go of them. So it's a lot of ego stuff. You know, the reason why Saturn has rings around him. You know what the rings are?
They tighten you up.
The rings are moons that he's crushed.
Yeah.
And the moon represents the mind. The mind is the ego.
Yeah.
And so what he does is much like Shiva is he crushes our ego
Yeah.
and he turns us into
Yeah.
dust.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I'm seeing. So the Aquarian and the Capricorn. Now the Capricorn will do better with it because they've
Yes.
taken the last 7 years and they've been kicked around, like you were saying.
Yes.
And they have. I know plenty of them who have. So I would say any Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Aquarian. I mean, Sun, Moon, or Rising sign. I've got the Aquarian in my mind. The Capricorn is going to have a far better year, even though Saturn is visiting them too. I think it visits them with more kindness right now, where the Aquarian has maybe been getting away with stuff for a long time, and that's why they're being called to the task now. And in my native teachings, we have the what we call the 7 generations. And when there's something that keeps showing up, and it shows up for 7 generations, somebody in the lineup has to put their heels in and stop
Mm.
the rotation of this constant thing. So if you're the lucky one that is clearly able to see what's going on, is a pattern that needs to be adjusted, then you're that generation that has to stop that dynamic from going forward, and you have to put the brakes on and do something different. So I think that Aquarian is being called to that, to do something different.
Agreed, because Aquarians really are they're the rebels, they're the revolutionaries of the zodiac, and we're in need of one.
Mm.
So, put down the game console, put down the screen, and just, unless you're using it for advocacy, start getting involved in your communities and putting groups together because, the opposite of Aquarius is Leo. This is our
Yeah.
sun, okay? And the Leo is the king. Leo is the ruler. It represents the elites. It's service to the king. And the elites have been abusing their power against the collective, which is Aquarius. And the Aquarians, they're kind of like the Julian Assanges of the world. I think is that the guy that is going against Putin? Is that the right? Am I getting the right guy there?
What's his name?
Ah, I'm trying to think of his name.
You're talking about the fellow in Ukraine? The
Yes, no, that's Vladimir Zelensky. Of course, he's an example of a freedom fighter. That's an excellent example of someone who has kind of some Aquarian energy, um, who's stepping forward and looking the king straight in the face and saying, "Not today." So, oh, you're talking and I can't hear you.
what happened? Oh, there you are. I can hear you
Yay.
now. I can hear you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, so yeah, President
Yeah.
Zelensky is an excellent example of that Aquarian pushback against authoritarian regime, against authoritarian powers, because he had a really great interview with David Letterman. If you guys have seen it, it's on Netflix. It's so good. I mean, it's amazing. Um,
So what I'm
so
hearing you say is the way for Aquarian to get out from underneath this energy is to literally lead a pushback.
bingo, they become leaders against the oppressors.
So
So
this is why they're going to be going up and down and all around because
bingo.
um, they're coming out of their comfort zone. They're coming out of their living rooms. They're coming out of their backyards. They're coming into the community and they're going to stir the pot and be more leaders as they've been meant to be.
Yes, they're leaders on the other side. They're the freedom fighters, so to speak. And the
Yeah.
card I got for the Aquarians this year is, they got the Two of Earth, so you may feel like there's just way too much going on at once, and that's because this surge and this need for change is so great. So take time out for self-care, and try to consider things with a more playful approach. Try to enjoy the process and not let it drain you of your divine energy. And when you do feel that it's too much, do those spiritual remedies. Take out some time for self-care. We mentioned all of the self-care techniques at the beginning of the show. It's going to be really important for you. Additionally, Pisceans in the Vedic are going to be entering something called Sadhisati if their moon is there. If their sun is there, it's going to be some ego battles, some identity crises, and for their, um, let's see, moons, it's Sadhisati, so that's going to create some karmic dumps. So that's another thing that Pisceans can be aware of, just moving forward as far as this kind of big energy. And there's also, and I'm talking like when I say Pisces, I'm talking about um, this would be the end of Pisces in the Western, the beginning of Aries. So that's some big energy. It's your the houses that are going to be affected involve your finances. So it's really, really important to watch your finances, Pisceans.
Yeah,
Um,
actually, I have that also. That it's
mhm.
I got the King of Pentacles in
Yeah,
reverse, meaning
yeah,
that there will be expenses, and then the Ten of Pentacles right underneath it, also in reverse, and it tells me
yeah,
that there'll be a lots of expenses, lots of um, um, people asking for your money. People want it. Well, could be taxes. It could be
hmm,
lawyers. It could and like those type of people. That type of energy where you can't say no. You can't just
yeah,
say no. You cannot just say no. And then I got the Hangman, and the Hangman also in
yep,
reverse, meaning you're going to have to sacrifice something. You're going to have to sacrifice probably living high because you're going to have a lot of bills. You're going to have to sacrifice something. And then the other thing, this star card also in reverse, as you can see here. So it's a star card in reverse. And that one tells me that with the Six of Cups underneath, that one tells me that we're going to be, Pisces is going to be dealing with old stuff from the past, stuff they haven't been able to let go of, things they've been dragging with them, things that have hurt them, things that are actually changing their lives because they haven't faced it. So this might be people who have addictive personality, because I've got a couple other cards that speak of the possibility. Some addictions maybe that have come, and it could be obsessions, addictions. And when we speak of Saturn energy in there too, that that could be the devil card. Everybody facing that devil card,
well, the
which
devil
is
card, he has the sign of Saturn on his palm. So the
mhm.
devil is basically within us, and we have to, defeat our own devil, is what the
And honestly, so this Saturn energy, is this for the whole year?
yeah, it's going to be in Aquarius the whole year because of the retrograde. So, and
Right.
next year, Saturn has a 2.5 year transit. He's a very slow mover, and he likes to take his time when it comes to giving us lessons. And I just went through. I started Sati Sati um, in 2000 and 19 and 20 when Saturn moved into Capricorn because it starts in the 12th house. and I had enormous expenses. This is what's coming for Pisceans. I had enormous expenses.
Mhm.
I had a lot of trials. I had to work extra jobs to kind of keep up with the bills.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I
and
see it.
now that
I see it.
so it's just something to be aware of. And
Mhm.
the number one thing you want to do is to live as simple life as you can during this time.
Yeah, that's what I
So
got for the whole year for everybody though.
yeah.
Now, even though there will be some businesses that really prosper, and one of them may be spiritual businesses, so I'm really glad that's the business we're in.
Well, the spirituality in the zodiac is indicated by Pisces, and with Saturn and Aquarius, but Pisces would be the second house, and that's the second house of savings. So that's money, that's liquid assets, things like that. And I think another reason for that is in the Vedic calculation, Jupiter is in Pisces, so he's giving a lot of spiritualists a huge boost right now. And
Yeah, and I think that there'll be a lot of simple types of businesses that no one would have seen it coming, that they got very famous, like even ourselves. And I know that sounds kind of, strange to say, but I think that we talked a little bit about this earlier, that I can see people like you and myself and others very similar to us coming into our own, because people will recognize that we are real, that we are what we say we are, and that we really care about what we're doing. So, we have some authentic vibration, and I think that's going to be rewarded. All of those people who are walking with authentic vibration and are real loving people at the core are going to be recognized. And I see that Saturn energy in reverse. It's like the restrictions are with this area, the spiritual area, the restrictions will be lifted. They're not going to
mm,
be on us. They're not going to be on us. That doesn't mean that there won't be the odd person who is a spiritual person who has to face a restriction. But the restriction comes for a different reason,
mm.
not because of our spiritual energy. So I see a lot of good in the spiritual community. I see a lot of good in art. That's another thing I see happening is artists are going to get, now let me say this correctly. There are art galleries that tell everybody what the going rate is for every inch of your painting. But then there's reality. You have a room full of paintings. Do you want to look at them or do you want to sell them? So those kinds of realizations are going to come to people. And I see artists taking things into their own hands. And it could be that, they're doing it on TikTok or they're doing it on social media. I'm not exactly sure, but I do see art being really super important. And that whatever is happening this year in terms of 2023 and art is going to be very important down the road for culture, because what I have noticed is our culture is seen in our art, whether it be paintings or sculptures or clay work or writing or poetry, whatever the muse is that the artist is relaying their soul to will express the culture's condition at the time. So 2023 will be found and remembered through the type of work that comes out of our artists. And I look forward to it. So I want to stress that if you do have a little bit of money and you can support a local artist of some sort, this is the year to do it. This is the year to have in your home, 2023, something from someone that you feel has something to offer, that speaks to the soul, that speaks to you about what's happening in the universe these days. So if you can, afford it, or you can communicate with the artists that maybe they don't need to listen to the art gallery's price list, so they can make it realistic prices, people will buy it, put it in their houses, and down the road, those things that you buy will be very important to your children, to your grandchildren. And I'm telling you now because I saw it in the cards earlier about how art was going to be super important and people don't even know it. And you don't know, sometimes you buy something and you don't know that that's going to turn into something, everybody wants down the road. So, art.
Okay. Well, especially given the fact that, NFTs and crypto are pretty much crashing, people might gravitate to those more IRL pieces, actual
Mhm.
things that they can put in their home and enjoy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's
really
because we'll be
interesting.
spending more time in our home. And we'll be starting to pull back and bring. I remember I was saying it's going to be community orientated, so I see us finally pulling back and bringing people back into our homes. We know now that we have to wash our hands 100 times, and that you have to cough over there, and we know now that we need to be careful if we're not feeling well to stay home. We know all these things. We've been educated. Now we can take that information and go out back out into the world, or invite people back into our homes and start to become more social. So I do see this year as being a more social, but I don't see COVID completely gone.
Mm-hmm.
I do see that taking another year. I do, before
Mm.
we have that under control. At least another year, probably 18 more months. But yeah, I saw that too. So anyways, let's get back to the science. Go ahead. I
Oh,
digress.
okay. Well, the energy I got for the art, I got belonging. Like you said, it's going to bring a sense of belonging in our communities. And yeah, I've actually been looking at trying to find an artist for something that I'm working on. It'd have to be someone probably from India who is very familiar with the yantras and the planetary deities and things like that. But yeah, I've been called to art as well. So I really appreciate you sharing that piece. Now, did you want me to share what each sign could expect from Saturn?
Yes, I do. That's where I want to head with this. So we've talked about cat.
All
We've
right.
talked about Aquarius. We've talked a bit about Pisces. Is there any more
So
for Aquarius or Pisces before we move on?
well, basically, the main thing for Saturn is going to be transiting your first house. We discussed the impact of that for Aquarius. Again, Pisces, lots of expenses, start of Sati Sati. Don't make any big decisions or move, live a very simple life. This is an intense energy. I do Sati Sati reports if you want to contact me for a reading, and we can figure, and I can give you lots of remedies. So,
Good.
um, now, Aries, Saturn is going to be transiting your 11th house of profits. Okay. So you may feel some money blocks, but know that this is Saturn's influence. Definitely avoid arguments with siblings because that's also going to be affected, especially elder siblings, and try to work things out responsibly with them. Okay.
So we're talking
And
about Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising, correct?
yes, and this would be the
Okay.
Vedic calculation.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's how I work. But what these things are going to help you do, and what you're being asked to do, is take on a more watery energy, cool that fire a little bit. I got the Knight of Water. This is the Knight of Cups. You're being asked to, show the more compassionate side of yourself and to develop that a little more. But it also says falling in love or wedding proposals. So that could be
For
some good energy for you.
for
And then we look at
Aries,
For Aries. Yeah, there could be like a more watery person coming into your life. Okay, Aries is going to be okay. So Jupiter starts out in the 12th house of loss of expenses for Aries. They could experience the loss of a loved one. This is going to be up until April 21st. You'll want to take a trip to a spiritual temple or retreat, and this energy is really supported for you right now. And then after April 21st, all the way till the end of the year, you're going to be entering, Jupiter's going to be going over your first house of self. Okay, and so that means Jupiter is going to be expanding your life in a big way. Jupiter going over your ascendant, your moon, or your sun is really, really good energy, Aries. Okay, that's going to be happening April 21st to the end of the year. Um, this is going to help you launch into a new cycle of your life. You're going to see an increase in your health, your wealth, your wisdom, good surge of positive energy. Pay attention to the eclipses, like I mentioned before, because they directly affect you this year. Okay, so
and you know
feel
what I
the
found
warning.
here? You know what I found here in this one is that during one of those eclipses, they're going to run into someone who's going to try to swindle them.
Oh,
So I want you to be really careful if you're looking at. So even though we're saying that you want to get connected with family and friends and all of that, you still got to be mindful. You still got to trust your instincts. You still got to trust your instincts, Aries. If you think someone's a little high on the hog, or is holding back, and or maybe they're hoodwinking you, they probably are. So I'm being told to tell Aries to trust their instincts on everything this year, not to walk in a fear-based place, but if you're going along and you're focusing on trying to get things done and life is good as my friend's saying it's going to be, and all of a sudden you get a gut feeling something's wrong, something's not right with that person, well, you're right.
yeah,
So be mindful to not to get too involved in anything that you can't backpedal in.
bingo. Bingo. And I got the moon for the Aries, and it's this
Mhm.
important psychic insights. Tamara says, listen to your gut, listen to that gut. Events behind the scenes. There's going to be stuff going on behind your back that you don't know about. Like she probably pulled the
Mhm.
Seven of Swords there. And then releasing fears that are holding you back is going to be the way to power through this.
Mhm.
Something that also really popped out to me is there's a wolf and a dog in here.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is a good
Trust your
time for you to
friends.
trust your
Trust your friends,
friends.
trust your family who are talking to you. If some one of your friends or family say, I don't know if I like that person, listen.
Bingo.
Listen to it, because I think that's the key. Sometimes your friends or your family don't like somebody that you bring into your life. Let's say it's a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and they don't like them, and you just go, you ignore them, and then a year later you're like, God, I wish I had to listen to my family because my family knows, right? So this is one of those times you want to listen to your family. Okay, don't slough them off. What they're saying has value. Listen up, because they are seeing past the red, what is it, the rose colored glasses. They're seeing past the
Okay.
rose
Yeah, they can
colored
see through
glass.
Neptune's deception. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's really good advice because Rahu, the North Node, has a very Neptunian energy and he's going through Aries right now. So that's
yeah.
the energy you're picking up on.
Mhm. Yeah, to be
Wow.
very careful. But it does look like Aries is going to couple up. I did take another look here, and I do see the possibilities of relationships. Now, this isn't just what I see isn't just a love affair, but those Aries that have been sitting around quietly in their homes for all of COVID time are going to
Hmm.
finally step out, find girlfriends, find friends, just genuinely good friends to communicate and talk to. Maybe sit and play cards, go for a walk, go hiking, whatever. Sit and gossip, for goodness sakes. Because, Aries doesn't mind that. Aries likes to be in the know.
Yep. Yep. And you might be romanticizing the past a little bit, or someone from the past may try to come back in because I did pull the Six of Water. Um, this could also bring about issues regarding children and relationships because you have to remember that the eclipses are occurring on your axis this year, Aries, and so you will be directly affected by this energy. So it's important to kind of there you go.
You know what I got here? And this is a hard one for Aries. They won't like this much, but they're going to be called out on anything they didn't do right over their past. Maybe they were crabby parents, or maybe they weren't great um, children. Maybe they weren't
Mm,
very good to their parents. I don't know. They're going to be called out though, and you're going to be called out by somebody's that you love, people that you love.
mm.
So it looks like some of you will cop an attitude and have some issues with some of your family, but I'm going to say by September, you're going to organize some of that and solve it. So, one of the things when we have fights in our family, which is what I'm seeing, is sometimes we go dormant and have a little quiet time and then regroup. And I do think that's going to happen. So, for those of you that do have that come up and you have to face it, well, just deal with it. Your best way out of that one is to admit, yeah, I wasn't the best parent back then, was I? That's a really good thing just to say, just to admit and move forward and say, I'm so glad I've learned to be a good grandparent, for instance. So humility is going to be really super important for you, Aries, in this time. And I would say by September, October, the energy will shift, and you guys will be back at the table celebrating Thanksgiving.
Great. Well, and I got that the energy to get through this is the opposite energy that you run on, Aries. It's water. You're a very fiery like personality, and I got the two of water. Relationships will grow closer if you lean on forgiveness and you
Absolutely.
and you practice humility. And a positive resolution to your conflicts can have by working together and by being
Yeah.
a team and by thinking with that team mind and not that
Yeah.
I mind.
Right. And this is the
Yeah,
hardest thing for Aries. Aries,
it
Sun,
is.
Moon, and Ascendant do have, they're born in the first house, which is all about self. So it's hard
Yep,
for them.
opposite relationships.
What are their major what do you call them? Leaps forward. What can they look forward to? Love. This is what I want to end on, that. Love, right?
Well, I did get that Knight of Cups energy and the marriage proposals and all of that.
Could it also be love of self? And I got something here about falling in love with something you used to do, not just someone that you used to do, but something you used to do. Like
Yeah,
maybe you used to play guitar and you haven't played it in a long time.
I got that. I got the Seven of Water, which is the same as the Seven of Cups. So there's going to be a lot of decisions that you can make. Like I'm getting that there are a lot of really talented Aries in the audience. Are you getting like a lot of talents, a lot of past So they need to do research and stop procrastinating, is what the card says. But there is a talent from your past or even a past life that could surface during this time that will kind of help you move into this. But I notice I'm getting a lot of cups for Aries. So this is a
Yeah.
time to really water down the fire
Yes,
is kind of what I'm
absolutely.
getting.
I think
Yeah.
it's a good thing too, because they do burn a little hot sometimes, and I do think that this. So I guess what we're saying overall is this is going to be a year of you, Aries people, looking inside and seeing the emotional part of yourself, seeing
Hmm.
that gentle soul that you also have. You do have it in you. I mean, a lot of Aries people are really forthright and forward moving kinds of people, very action orientated. But I think because of that, they don't always take a lot of time to look at themselves. So I'm going to say that I concur completely that this year is going to be really super important for them to um, look within and mellow out and dilute that fire a little bit with some of that water vibration, and maybe recognize where you might have been part of the problem so you can be part of the solution.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
so this would be a good year for Aries to get back on track. Get back on track, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
All right, next
Okay,
sign, my
so
friend. Oh, thank you, Moon
Taurus.
Dog. How
Oh,
you
moon
doing?
dove. Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
So the next one is for Taurus, and Saturn is going to be transiting your ninth house of travel. That's also the guru and the father. Okay. This is not a great time to travel. And if you do, you can expect some issues and delays. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on with the airlines right now. Okay. Uranus is in Taurus going to Gemini. There's a lot of, a lot of infrastructure things that we're having in America and across the world. The main issue we're having here is that COVID um, bailed out all of the airlines, and now they are booking flights, not sending people on them, and not honoring their uh, their travel insurance. And so, if someone's flight is canceled, the airlines are just taking their money. And you guys can look this up on YouTube. It's all over the news, at least here in America. So don't let the travel agencies hoodwink you. The main thing that I would say for you is if you do plan on traveling or getting on a plane of any kind, get your travel insurance through your credit card company.
Good,
That way you can
good
get your money
advice.
back because they're really taking advantage of people right now, the airline industry. Issues with dad. Okay, now this is going to be going on all year. If you're worried about his health, just check in a little more often. If there is maybe some issues regarding mental health or just his emotions, just practice more patience. If you do need to set some appropriate boundaries, do so, but do so in a loving way. Know that, dad's going through it with this energy. If you're having trouble understanding spiritual teachers and gurus, um, know that energy is here too. Just practice discernment and try to be patient with yourself as you're learning new things. Another really good thing is up until April 21st, Jupiter's going to be going through the 11th house for Taurians. Okay, this is profits, money. So that's good. This is an excellent position for wealth. New sources of income, a promotion, a new job may be on the horizon. You may have the support of your older siblings at this time. Okay. And then when Jupiter moves into Aries, Taurians, this is going to enter your 12th house of loss and expenses. So make sure you save some money from that 11th
Yeah,
house energy.
yeah.
Okay. And watch your spending during that time. You may experience a loss of a loved one as well because 12th house is hospitals, death. Okay. If you want to take a trip to a spiritual temple or retreat, energy is fully supported for you during after the 21st. The only main thing I would warn you of is we talked a little bit about that Guru Chandala Yoga, which takes place between April and October. Be very careful about choosing a guru and practice discernment because what the North Node does to Jupiter is it messes with the purity. So you might be getting wrong advice. Okay. So
Hmm.
that's the main energy I see for Taurus, given the big planets and what's going on with them. And let's see if I can pull a card here for you guys.
Yeah, I got another little warning here too. That well, first of all, I'll tell you the good thing. The good thing is the Magician card shows up, and when I see the Magician card, I know that this sign, Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant, has the ability to create whatever it is they want. You just have to focus on it and know your magic is strong and know that your thinking is strong. You don't want to be stuck in stinky thinking, because then you'll create it. So you really want to create through imagining, through writing things down, especially writing things down. You know, if you have a vision of something you want, Taurus, you need to actually write it down. If you want to be famous for being an artist, if you want to have a productive business, you want to write it down as if it's happening. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but with the magician card like that there, I would say by doing it, you're kind of putting it into the universe, and that magical energy will come back at you. You do have to be mindful. There is a situation I'm a little concerned about. This is it. You have the King of Wands in reverse. You have the Knight of Swords in reverse. And this tells me you need to be very careful with you need to be very careful and very cautious with a very shrewd, selfish, potentially corrupt, and um, perverted type of thinking. Okay.
Mm,
And now that could be in so many ways. It could be in so many ways when I speak of that. But that type of energy is out there. You're going to face something about that. And I see you walking away from it. I see it being heavy. I see it being hard for the Taurus to have to look at this and have to deal with it. But Taurus, this is going to give you strength when you get up and walk away from it. I think you have some strong values, some strong morals, some strong opinions about things, and I see you're going to share them, and that's what's going to still, help that situation. I see you sharing them. You may be called out a little bit because some of it, maybe you skewed too much to this side of an argument, and you're going to be opened up a little bit so you see both sides, and that's going to be super helpful for you in the long run. Okay, and I do see old friends and old hobbies and old activities and old extracurricular things that you like to get involved with being super helpful and healing. Taurus, I think you've gone through a lot of difficulties over the last little bit. A lot of people don't know this because you guys are so stubborn, and no one really pays attention when someone's stubborn. They just go, "Oh, they're crabby." But the thing about Taurus that a lot of people don't get is they love hard. They love so hard. And
mm-hmm.
if expectations are not met, and depending on where that Taurus's head is, if those expectations are not met, it really hits them. It guts them, and they could have a lot of really big problems from that, and angers and resentments and regrets and those kinds of things. But I will tell you that I think you're learning from your experiences. Page of Pentacles. I think you're gaining strength and courage from those understandings, from those knowings. And I think as long as you're cautious and careful and go to the right people for advice, as Michelle had already mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
I think you'll manage to navigate 2023 in a way where you can say it strangely will end up a much better year than the past few.
Yeah, and the outcome that I got was harmony from the Whispers of Ganesha Oracle, finding harmony. And this
Yeah,
is the sacral chakra, the Svadhisthana.
yeah,
So this is the sexual energy, the reproductive energy, the passionate energy. And
yeah.
so you mentioned that, Taurans tend to lead, with their heart, but this is also encouraging them to follow their passions this year and to do so in a way that's harmonizing for
100%.
themselves and the collective. Yeah.
Yeah, this will be a really good year for them to settle into a long-term business plan, a long-term money-making scheme, or whatever you want to call it. It'll be a long-term. Whatever they settle into this year will be long-term. It won't be short-term for the most
Yep.
for the most part.
Yep.
Yeah,
And what's really interesting is Saturn for Taurus is going to be transiting the 10th house of career. So this could add a lot of pressure to work. So that's something to really take into consideration. And, take it in stride, try to fulfill your responsibilities and do it to the best of your ability because I told you Saturn was going, yeah, anyway.
yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, that's good for Taurus then. What do we got? What do we have next?
Oh, well, we have Gemini. And
Yeah,
Gemini, like I said, it's going from that 10th house and then into the ninth house. So they're also being affected by the guru, by the father. Again, not a great time to travel for Geminis. Now, if you are a Western Gemini, this is going to be in your eighth house of transformation and inheritances. Okay. So this can be a difficult energy. It's called Ashtama Shani. It's a time of major upheaval. Okay. for the Western Geminis. And so I tell people contact me for remedies because it's not an easy energy. My husband just went through it. It's like, whoa.
What do you mean? What do you
So
mean when you say Western Geminis? Can you tell us a little bit more? I don't
I
think ev
will definitely,
Yeah.
yeah,
What do you mean
definitely.
by that?
Well, I know that you're referring to the Western sign, so I'm trying to match you over here. Basically, there is the sidereal calculation is the exact mathematical calculation in the sky right now. Whereas the Western astrology was formed over 2,000 years ago, it was set in the sky and they set the seasons. So the seasons determine the tropical calendar, which is Western astrology. And since then, the Earth's axis has moved between 24 and 25 degrees. So the actual real life calculations are in fact sidereal. But people rely on their Western sign to kind of go through things. So I'm trying to like find a branch here.
Yeah, well, you see,
But
just so you know, no, you know what? I should probably clear something up with you. Don't actually completely do that. So when I go to the tarot, I
mhm,
ask spirit, I ask creator. I feel very, very well protected and very guided by my source. And so
mhm,
when I go to the tarot, because I'm a master tarot reader, when I go to the tarot, I invite or invoke spirit to work with me. So I'm
yes.
not really invoking Western or Vedic or anything. I'm
Okay.
really not. All I want to know is the overall picture for that sign. And so it
Yeah.
can relate to yours or mine. It wouldn't matter,
Yeah.
right? But and haven't you noticed how accurate we both are? Like, look at how we both agree with each other, like with our cards and the astrology. And that's because we are coming at it from source, a whole different ball game than most people.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know, I know that
Yeah.
you're following your ways with your books and your teachings and that, but you also know both ways. So when you're
Yeah.
doing this, you'd have to come from that source energy. Thank you, Moon Dog. Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah. So I think we're a great team. Keep going.
Oh yeah. So I'm going with the Western calculation here. So basically transformation, there could be some inheritances coming your way. This is a difficult energy, like I said, Shani. And the number one thing you need to do this year is rest. I got the four there. Okay. Take some time to rest or take a vacation. Allow more time before making these big decisions because you're going to feel a little stuck this year. And meditation can provide a lot of answers for you.
Actually, I
Okay.
have noticed Gemini's been going through a lot for the last few years. Very
Mm-hmm.
similar to Taurus. Those two signs and Capricorn. Those three signs I've noticed have had probably the harder last few years than most. I'm not sure why. Do you know why?
It's Saturn's transit, as well as Uranus is going through Taurus right now, and Uranus likes to really shake things up. And he's also about to enter Gemini. He's not there yet, like 24, 2025. He's been in Taurus for a while because his transit is 84 years long. So there have been some upheavals in the collective that are very trying for Taurians because they're very stable, they're very grounded, they're like four by four. You know,
Right?
they're the people with the emergency food kits and the generators. You know, and they see all of this upheaval going on, and it's very stressful for them. As far as Gemini, you know, the like I said, Saturn has been hanging out in that eighth house for a while for the sidereal Geminis, and for the Western Geminis, he's been hanging out in that ninth house. So it's been a lot of it's been a lot of change for them as well, especially because they're the communicators. And if you think about COVID, COVID changed the way we communicate. It changed the way we get together.
There's the answer. That's it right there.
They're very gregarious. You know, they like to be in
Right.
big groups. They're extroverts. And so you force a Gemini to stay
Right.
indoors for 2 years, it's going to cause some mental problems
Oh,
because
you
they
know, I
don't work
never
like that.
thought of it. I never ever even thought of that. That's the reason. Because when I was looking at the last 2 years of Gemini, I got to say they've had it yucky. And
Yeah.
so, and now I'm noticing that, they're coming out of it, but they're still dragging the yuck with them. And every time I do my predictions, every month that I do predictions, I almost hate doing Gemini because I know that they're dragging, because they really, they're another one of those signs. They really hold on to stuff. They don't forget things that have happened to them. They can be resentful and then whiny and angry. They go back and forth from whiny to angry. And it's really hard on them. It's really hard on the Gemini to deal with challenges, and I've seen them having to do it. And I keep, when I do my readings with them, I try to look for the light, because I know the dark is there. It's right
Yeah.
there, and it's going to be there for 3 more months. And you're telling me, I thought 3 more months and then they would start feeling better, but you're telling me that it's going to be a slow boil for a little while longer.
It is, but the ending is good because I got the celebrations card. I got the Three of Water. Celebrations, weddings, graduations, birth announcements. It's the same as the Three of Cups. So things that need to have more fun is in the cards. But
Oh, good.
it's not quite there yet.
Yeah.
Because they've been going through it. I've got a Gemini rising, and my husband is a Gemini rising in Vedic, and it hasn't been easy on either of us because we
No.
like to get out, we like to do
Yeah.
things, and we haven't been able to. So,
That's what this one's saying is, to take all the things that you've learned in the past few years and put it all together and put it out for the universe. A lot of
mhm,
Geminis, I think, are going to have to be rejigging their workplace energy. So Sun, Moon, and Aquarius, and I don't know why I want to say that. Sun, Moon, and Ascendant for Gemini really needs to either take whatever skills that you have, even ones that you haven't put to practice yet, and start offering them. Anything that you've learned, anything that you've understood, regrouped around, pull it in. The other thing is you're going to have to look at the type of people you attract. That's what
mhm,
this year is going to be about. Um, I got these two cards in reverse. That is the King of Cups and the King of Pentacles. So this tells me that the way you pick your partner is wrong. You need to really
mm,
look at that. You need to really look at that, because what happened was, a lot of what it shows me is that a lot of Geminis picked partners based on comfort, based on um, you know, logic, that type of a thing, and contentment. And that didn't work. That didn't work for them. And so this Eight of Cups has you walking away from a lot of relationships and looking for more serious love, more passionate love, more creative love, more love that speaks to your soul. So that's going to be one of the things I think that Gemini is going to learn is how to pick partners better, how to draw to you a better match for partnership, better. I guess. I guess the main thing I'm being told to tell you is really be careful that you learn your lessons. So if you think it's always somebody, I mean, I know I pointed the finger at these, wrong partners, but I'm also pointing the finger at Gemini. Gemini, you picked them. So why did you pick them? Really important for you to look at that and to, sit with it. Sit with it. Before you jump back into another love affair, make sure you have taken the time to understand what made you pick these relationships in the first place. Now, it could not, maybe it isn't just love, it could be business relationships, it could be good friendships, all of that. If you didn't pick them from a sacred place, you'll be called out, Gemini. Any relationship that you picked from a place of notoriety, or what could they give me, or how can they enhance my life, and it's not spiritual or sacred, you're going to be called out on it. So I think this is going to be a really good time for you to adjust yourself so that you aren't your own worst enemy. That's a good way to put it, I think, eh?
that's a beautiful way of putting it. Like I said, my husband has a Gemini rising, and he's been his own worst enemy this year, and I had to help him out of it. We can all do that to ourselves. We just get into these dark holes, and we feel like we're all alone, and we don't reach out for help. So that's the
Mm-hmm.
main thing I'm asking for you to do this year, Gemini. And you really touched on work, Tamir. I did not cover what was going on with Jupiter with Geminis this year. It's going through the 10th house of career. So we're talking promotions, we're talking increases in salary, we're talking a possible new job that makes you some good money. You're going to be recognized for your efforts. Jupiter's really going to bless you in the career house. And
Mm-hmm.
that's up until April 21st. And then it gets even better because then he enters
Mm-hmm.
your house of profits.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
good money.
I
Okay.
see it.
It's,
And I
um,
also
it's,
see a lot of creativity for the Gemini, a lot of
mhm,
creativity. And I know we said that Taurus shouldn't be traveling, but Gemini looks like they might be.
mhm. Yeah. This it's an excellent position for wealth, income, promotions, new jobs. So you might have to travel for this.
Hmm.
You also have the support of your older siblings at this time. So you might be traveling to visit siblings and things like that. If you're looking to get a house, lean on them. Lean on those older siblings or family members to help you do that because it takes a lot to get stable in today's economy, just based on what the banks are doing and the governments are doing to the middle class.
This is cool what I got here. You may have a crabby matriarch in your family and
Mm,
you don't think they're there for you, but if you ask them for money, they jump at the opportunity to help you. So
there you
don't
go.
think just because someone's crabby or harsh or kind of edgy that they wouldn't support you. You would be wrong. They will.
Yep. And that could also be a crabby elder sister because that's that 11th house
Oh
energy
yeah,
there. Yeah.
it sure could be. 100%. 100%.
Yeah. Oh, that's
And
excellent.
that's good because I think Gemini's, sort of been, running around with their tail between their legs, feeling really embarrassed. I think Gemini feels really embarrassed when they make mistakes, and they have made mistakes over the last couple of years. And I think, well,
Hmm.
not just really mistakes, but I mean, everything's as it should be, but they feel they've made mistakes. And I think the last couple of years with COVID having them conditioned in the home has caused them to have trouble in their relationships. So, this is why those relationships are going to change. And if there is, if you really loved that person when you got with them, then this is the year to heal it. If
Yep.
you went with this person because of, what they could bring into your life, this is the year to leave it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And that's, in my opinion, not the reason to get into a relationship.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
So you'll
that's
be
good.
called out. Either way, you'll be called out for that. But I do
Yeah.
think that there will be plenty of Geminis that are in reasonably good relationships that will need to, maybe, like you said, reach out for some hand up, a little bit of
Hmm.
therapy, a little bit of clearing the air, communicating. This is what Gemini's good at. And I think, though, when Gemini's forced, I mean, when Gemini's forced into a situation where they have to live with each other and they're not allowed to go out and lockdowns are everywhere and they're not allowed to do anything. I mean, I can imagine you and your partner have had your own issues. I mean, I'm not trying to bring them to the table, but I can imagine you having communication issues because you only have each other to bounce your stuff off of, and
Hmm.
then it's constant. And if you do happen to think differently, you're not gonna be as open to accepting it because you have no one to communicate with. Oh, well, maybe he's got a good point. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. So, do you want to get into Cancer next?
Let's do it.
All right. Okay, Cancers, it's going to be a year of upheaval for you. Okay. Like I said, the negative energies could be issues with family regarding inheritances, things like that, um, or just in general. Um, Jupiter, however, is going to be going through the ninth house of the guru and the father. So this is a great time to find a spiritual teacher to, mend bridges with dad if that's possible. But this energy overall is really encouraging self-development, finding a new spiritual practice or technique that really fits you. I know Tamir has a lot of classes and courses, and she's got her amazing coven. I also teach classes as well. That might be something you want to look into. But this is a time to develop a new spiritual study for you. If you're looking for a teacher, now's the time to do it. Again, that's
Yeah.
excellent. You're also going to be entering your 10th house of career. This is after April 21st. Um, so Jupiter's going to cause some positive change in your married life as well. Okay. And you may also get a promotion at work. This is also a time where you're going to get recognized for your efforts in general. So, some good energy, some bad. But the main card I got for you is the reversed emperor. You got to start really organizing your life right now, getting things in order, using organization and logic to kind of solve this eighth house problem that I see coming your way. Um, and using structure and discipline and your innate leadership, stepping into a leadership role is really going to help as well. Speaking up for yourself is the main thing that I'm getting because cancers tend to be more of like a maternal, more of a mother energy, more of that, caring, nurturing, wanting everyone to be um, happy and good around them. I got the reverse emperor again. I just put it right back into the deck.
I think I know what's happening with that one. If I could speak on it,
Yeah, of
um,
course.
I, I'm thinking that um, despite the fact that cancers are, loving and caring and kind, they're also very and can be very controlling.
Yes,
They
they
like to
can.
control the narrative. They like to control the narrative. And this will cause them to be censoring things sometimes, or maybe, creating situations where the others feel censored or not heard.
Hmm.
So one of the problems here, I think, with the Emperor card in reverse is them not seeing that their leadership isn't 100%. Them not seeing that, um, and giving out away to others the opportunity to lead properly, or choosing poor leaders. All of it has to do with leadership. To me, it has to do with authority and leadership. And I think the bottom line is that a lot of these people who are cancers are going to feel and face, what is the best way to proceed as far as leadership authority. And yeah, I think you're right. There's going to be some major issues around fathers, and anybody who has any father issues. And this could be why the cancer person I'm seeing at this time has some of their issues. But on the other hand, they're also, like you said, all about love, all about community, all about family. They are about that. But maybe some of their journey around their father issues, around their authority issues, and around
Hmm.
leadership is what's going to be called to the task for 2023. And they're going to have to sit with themselves a little bit. They're going to have to, realize their weaknesses, and maybe if they have business, they're going to have to hire on management to help them, and and then trust them once they hire them. That there's that thing where you hire them and then you micromanage your manager. You don't
Yeah.
want that. And I think that sometimes either cancer completely ignores what's going on, or they micromanage.
Yep.
One or the two. They need to, fix, and I think that's why the card was like that, is because they need to fix that about themselves. They need to find their center. They don't have it.
Well, and I think that the whole point in finding the center is cancers tend to go, like you said, they tend to ignore it. They go inside their shell or
Hmm.
they pinch.
Yeah, one or the
So,
other.
yeah, so learning a new way of doing things. And I got the three of fire. This is the three of wands. Learning to work with others is going to bring a lot of abundance into your life, and you're going to learn some new things about you. And fire is very uncomfortable for the cancer. Oh, excellent. You got the three of wands too. Yep. So,
I
making
do.
long-term plans, but including other people in those long-term plans, and having patience with others
Yeah,
in your circle, involving more than one person in your project, and things are going to look really good for you. In fact, when
yeah,
you when you
yeah,
work with others cancers, it benefits you exponentially, but you have to get over this fear and this trauma that you've been hanging
yeah,
around, which I'm getting is more father, okay?
yeah,
A
yeah,
little bit of the mother, but some father energy that you need to help heal because when you don't heal those things, when you don't deal with them in a very deep way, because I was talking about that eighth house energy of transformation, when you don't allow your wounds to transform you, but instead you carry them around, you hurt other people.
yeah. I
And
actually
that's
think
gonna
I think cancer's going to get that opportunity. By what I'm
mm-hmm,
seeing, they're going to be facing the devil. They're going to be facing their demons. They're going to face that nonsense of the father. And I
mm-hmm,
think they're going to call stuff out. And this is going to be a really good year for them to heal. And here's the good thing. Even though cancer may be going through this, the outcome, as far as I can see, is freaking awesome.
oh good.
Awesome. And here's another thing. um, normally when you get into business with someone, or normally when you get into a situation with someone, you kind of want it written down, and you want all the T's crossed and the I's dot, and then you want the
Mm-hmm.
lawyer to double check in on it and all of that. That may not be completely necessary. It may not be. And because what it looks like is a lot of unorthodox relationships. So we got the Hierophant in reverse. A lot of unorthodox relationships will come. And that means that it's, your traditional way of managing things are not actually there. So, if the old days we used to do a handshake, that might be the way. And I know that's weird advice to give, especially with you and I and the experiences that we have. But cancer, you know, you can write it down. I'm not saying not to write it down, but maybe just don't bring it to a lawyer. So maybe you write it down and both you and your friends sign it. It's really just as legal. Or maybe you write it in an email and you send it to each other. It still has some legal vibration, but you don't want to seal the deal so much so
Mm-hmm.
that the friendship or the trust is lost in the words. So we you know, so maybe this has to do. So here's the thing: be open, be honest, be real, be solid, be authentic, have integrity. And I think anybody you pull close to you will be of value and integrity, just like you, will only draw to you who you are, what you are, and how you put out whatever you put out. And I do think, and this is interesting because I do have a new Cancer woman in my life, and this card shows up as a Queen of Wands, and that's what I am. I'm a Leo, so are you, obviously. So I think that we, Leo people, or Sagittarius or Aries people, will be very significant in helping the Cancerian get their center, get their mojo back, get their vibe happening, get everything they need in their life. And this woman will be very helpful in even directing, or man, it could be a man actually, but probably with feminine energy. This person will be very effective in helping you clear the air on your issues with the Emperor in reverse. So the father energies, the authority issues, the leadership issues, all of that. I think this new person that, or it could be an old person who's newly involved again, would come into your life and be very, very helpful in sorting through some of these things. So what am I saying? Trust them.
Okay, that's great advice, Tamare.
Hmm.
All right, so do you want to move on to Leo?
Yes.
Okay, all right, Leos. So this year, Saturn is going to be transiting your seventh house of relationships, and this can bring about the end of relationships if you're not careful. Okay, these blocks are there to test your resolve and work out any issues with your partner in an amicable fashion. And practice patience with your spouse. That's the number one thing that I can say for the Leos that are married or in relationships. And if you are struggling to find a relationship, just know that Shani's blocking that right now. Shani's the name for Saturn. Okay. Another thing that you're going to want to really pay attention to is that when Jupiter's going to be going through up until April 21st, your eighth house of transformation and inheritances. So you may inherit property during this time, or other assets from your family or in-laws this year. And there also may be a prompt to move to a new location as well. That's up until April 21st. Now, after which Jupiter's going to enter Aries. That's the house of the guru and the father. So this is really going to encourage a lot of self-development, working with dad. Great time to develop a new spiritual study. You're going to be looking for a teacher. Again, this is the time to do it. Wait until October 30th. Otherwise, you could risk attracting a guru who is on the wrong path. Okay. So
Yeah, there
after
was
October
another sign
30th,
that had that too, eh, Michelle?
it was, and that was
Was
the
that
a couple
Taurus?
signs before. I believe that was. Let's see. That was because Jupiter moves.
Hmm.
Let's
I'm pretty sure it
see.
was Taurus, you said.
It is Cancer.
Cancer. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Thank you for looking. Okay.
So yeah, that's the because we talked about the wounds and the father wounds. Remember that?
Hmm.
So and then yeah, Taurus was yeah. Anyway, but the card that I pulled for you, Leos, is generosity. Really focus on sharing your wealth this year, whether it be family members or friends that are in need. If you have the wealth, share it. Be generous. We talked about this earlier in the show. It's going to take a community to get through a lot of the tyranny that we're seeing in our governments, in our money institutions, things like that. So be generous, okay?
Yeah.
I also got that that's going to bring justice to the collective, okay? If you're a lawyer, if you have some legal chops, if you have the money to buy a lawyer, you might be looking into helping people make fair and just decisions moving forward, putting your money toward a cause, especially on a community level, okay? And doing what you know is right and standing up for your beliefs is huge. Now, you're going to be going through what's called your Saturn opposition, okay? And the way to handle Saturn going opposite you is to take away the more egocentric side of yourself, the king side, and putting it into the collective, using your light to shine a light on the injustices you see and correct them, okay? Because what that's going to do is that's going to create a Nine of Earth situation. This is the Witch card. Everyone's going to enjoy the little luxuries that they've been denied. Spending quiet time alone is going to be good for you. And successful self employment, you can actually help people step into their power. Okay. So, I see good things for you if you are generous with your time, if you're generous with your money, if you're generous with your family, with your community. You can step out and be a real leader, a helper, and an amazing philanthropist this coming year. So that's the main energy I get for Leo. What are you getting over there, Tamir?
Um, well, I got this card. This always freaks me out when I see it in my own sign because I mean I'm half nervous to get involved in a relationship. There's a part of me that wants to get involved in a relationship, and there's another part of me that's like, oh my God, no, I don't have time for that. you know and so this is the Lover's card, and this is about finding sacred love. And I suppose if I, as a Leo, found myself a sacred person, if I found someone who I thought was spiritual, sacred, real, solid kind of person, I probably would turn and be interested. I probably would. But I haven't. But this card shows up, and this one says this year it could happen. That's
Hmm.
how I get it. That's what I see when this year you might meet someone who you think is sacred. So if you're single, I see that. And didn't you say that if that wouldn't happen?
Well, Shawnee can bring relationships, but they could be karmic in nature. And especially if you're older, that's just a sign that he's just delivering them. Or it could be an older partner, someone who's very mature, very responsible, very grounded, um, uh, very career oriented. That's the kind of relationships that Shawnee can bring.
Well, this one here would be someone who's not competitive. I got this in reverse, Seven of
Mm.
Wands. So it would be someone who's not really competitive, who's not pushy, who's not challenging, who's not hard. It's not that they're not challenging you as a person, but they're not challenging you, um, and your interest and your ideas, and that instead they are listeners. What I got here is they're more listening, and especially if you're feeling overwhelmed. I got this one in reverse, another Seven of Swords, and this one tells me that you may be, when you're feeling overwhelmed, or when you're feeling over the top, someone is going to be there for you. Someone's going to listen. Someone's going to. And so when you're irritated or you're having a hard time, this person isn't going to challenge that. This person's going to embrace you, let you get it out, let you sort it out. And I see that there will be sacred reunion or sacred union created in this year. Now, this could be through a lover. It could be through a combination of, let's say, like sometimes the Lover's card, we forget this. We always think of two, but there's an angelic force in there too. So there's really three beings, three energies in this card. So sometimes this card shows up with, two people coming together to create a third vibration. And sometimes that's three people creating a triangle. It doesn't necessarily mean polyamorous either, but more, like my son and his partner and me, right? That could be
Hmm.
that kind of vibe. I do see that some travel could be in store for Leos, whether they're traveling back and forth to assist the people that they love, or whether they're traveling to places with people that they love. I do see that. I do have this card for the Leo, and I'm happy to see this one, my friend. This is the Star card. And this means a lot of Leos are going to get their butts on stages, and you've been working hard to get on a stage, you're going to find yourself there. People are going to start noticing you for the greatness and the goodness that you carry, Leo, and they're going to put you in a good position. You're going to be known as experts, as leaders, as popes, as bishops, as priestesses, as all of these wonderful things, gurus, and that type of a thing. You're going to be acknowledged for the gifts that you carry, Leo. Now, some of those gifts will be called on. Some of those things will not necessarily work. And maybe you're going to have to, how do I say this? Maybe you have to go back to something in your past and review it. When you have to do that, if you have to do that, Leo, it's a good idea to be super humble, super real, super honest, super transparent. It'll help you heal it. That doesn't mean that it'll be easy, because the Moon card shows up and does tell me that some of it will be having to do with, and it was in reverse. So the Moon card in reverse does speak of secrets unveiled, or psychic knowing realized. Maybe you missed something. Maybe you've been fearing something and it does come. And, this is going to give you an opportunity to face it, to pull it into your view so you can review it and unpack it. Unpack it. That's a good way. And so then there will be healing. You may have to walk away from a few things to make it right for you. And maybe you're not going to be accepted by some people, and that's okay. Accept it for what it's worth. Count the blessings with those that have offered you blessings, and move forward. So I think this is going to be an overall very interesting year. A very interesting year. And I'm looking forward to it. How about you?
Well, and I love that you pulled the star card because that is the card for Aquarians. I have it back here, and it's all about service to the collective, but being a leader, shining, like taking
Yeah.
that time on stage to really shine in your community.
Yeah.
So I absolutely love that you picked that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right, so do you like to move on to Virgo?
Yes, do it.
All right. So, Virgos, Saturn is going to be transiting your sixth house of karma yoga. Okay, that's service to others. Okay, also small pets and just pets in general, domestic pets, and hidden enemies. That's very good because then Shani's going to reveal and help you fight your enemies. This is also a great position for Saturn because he not only reveals your enemies, he can block them in their efforts. So that's really good. Additionally, this is a good time to do service, but you need to watch your pet's health as well. Okay, because that's when things can go oury with cats and dogs and our little fur babies. Okay. Um, Now Jupiter is going to be going into your, let's see, seventh house of marriage. So if you're looking to get married or enter a new relationship, this energy is supported. Now again, you pulled the Western. You were pulling stuff for Leo. This would be Leo's in Western. So it's just interesting how they overlap like that. But yeah, new relationships are fully supportive. If married, this energy can bring forth marital bliss. It can bring forth increased happiness. And then after April 21st, let's see, you're going to go into the house of transformation and inheritances. You may inherit property or other assets from a family or in-laws this year, and this also may prompt a move to a new location for you, and that's after the 21st. The main thing I got for you, dear Virgos, is focus on inner knowing. Start a meditation practice this year because the answers are within you. Okay? This is what Spirit is really prompting you to do. Meditate, take some time alone. The best time to meditate is when everybody's asleep
Yeah.
because then you don't have, yep, that way you don't have all of the thoughts and the energies and the craziness coming along. So let's say you wake up at 4 in the morning and you can't go back to sleep. Don't open your tab. Don't get on your phone. Sit in meditation. Light a candle flame, stare at it, and just
Mhm.
be with it. Okay, because you're going to start getting some big downloads this year. The second thing I got was you're going to be developing your heart chakra. This is wholeness. Okay.
Absolutely. I
Mm-hmm.
actually see some very wonderful things around that.
Mm-hmm.
I see them healing a lot of the old stuff, and recognizing how alone they've been, and moving forward into clearing the depression, gaining new relationships, new friendships. Um, yeah, I see this as a great year for them learning to love themselves again.
Yep. And this is the Anahata chakra. This is your heart center. You're really going to learn to try to balance this area of yourself
Yeah.
and how you communicate with others from a heart space and creating a safe space not only for you but for others. The only real challenge I see is I got the Five of Fire. Okay, this is the Five of Wands. There might be some competition, some goals, but again, I said Saturn's going to be in that sixth house. He's going to be helping you fight those enemies. There are going to be some conflicts with others, but they're going to be put to light, and you will prevail because Shani's got your back. Saturn in the sixth house is excellent. He's there in my natal chart, and he has really fought some battles for me in a very good way.
Yeah.
But
Would
the
you
main
say that?
energy.
Sorry. Would you say that the Virgo's also going to really align more with their spirituality and also their artist ways?
I can definitely see that because, the Anahata is ruled by Venus. So that's Taurus and Libra.
Hmm.
So if you're coming from your heart space, Venus is supporting that. And Venus is basically it's the planet of artists. So
Yeah, I see
that's,
it. I don't see it so much as them necessarily making money from it, but finding
mhm,
their center in it. I find that, I mean, unless of course you're already got it going on, it'll get bigger. But what I see here mostly, what I keep seeing is that you collect, you create a more spiritual life for yourself, a more artsy life for yourself, and you do it for yourself, not for the collective. It's for you. And it tells me that it's going to be very successful if you do it for you. If you fully do it for you, 100% do it for you, the opportunities for others to notice it will be there. And yes, there could be some money made from those people who are working towards that, but not if you do it for that reason. Like you couldn't, Virgo's sun, moon, and ascendant cannot just go out right now and create business in spirituality. But if you are pulling it in for your soul, for your own self, for your own healing, if you're doing art for yourself, for your own divine purpose, then it has the vibration to become something even bigger where other people would pay you for it. That's what I'm saying. So it can't be done for the reason of business. It has to be done for the soul. And if so, then it can turn into that. And I do agree with you about them finding more love in their love affairs. I see that too. If you're already in a love affair and you actually feel love towards that person, it looks like it's going to get bigger, better, stronger, more active, more loving. Um, if your family home has been having trouble, maybe you've been really disconnected from that person in some ways. I think how do I say this? Those of you that need to get out from underneath depressing relationships, this is the time to be able to do it with kindness and with love. So, maybe you fell out of love. Maybe you both went in different directions, but you're still together. I think this is going to be a year where you decide to release one another so that you can actually find your true loves. And the other thing is, and that's another thing I got here. I got the 6 of Wands in reverse, and this tells me that a lot of you Virgos don't have a lot of friends, and it's not because you're not friendly. It's because you isolate yourself. This is a time for you to get out more, to be more involved in the community, to bring your beautiful soul out there and let people know yourself. You have a loving, generous, but shy kind of way. And I think most Virgos are like that. And all I can say is, man, do we need you guys out there? Because we need some loving, shy, blissful innocence to make this world a nicer place to be in.
Definitely, definitely. And I also pulled the Dreamer for Virgo. So it's all about taking a leap of faith, following your dreams, just meeting those unexpected opportunities without fear, without shyness, but with like a boldness, a little bit of fool. Bring out the little inner fool, because that's going to be good for you. Because you're very regimented, and what Spirit's asking you to do is let loose a little bit.
Look at this card I got. I was just
Oh,
with you. And I was saying, like, the pitfalls is some of you may have to face addictive personality, compulsions,
mm,
obsessions, um, addictions. I'm sorry to say it, Virgos, but a lot of you have used substance to help you stay isolating. So this is going to be a challenging year for you to pull that out. This was also showed up in, I think it was Pisces there too. So any kinds of addictions or compulsions, obsessions, power tripping, anything that you do, you're going to be facing this year, and this will be a journey inward to release it, to let it go. And all I can say is, you got this. This is the year to do it. You will be able to manage any addiction that you have as a Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. If you have an addiction, you're going to solve it this year, as long as you step into it. Don't be afraid. Step into it.
yep. And you're definitely tapping into that Saturn sixth house energy because he can help battle enemies, which also include addictions. So that's excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And that's another thing I saw here is calling out assholes. Virgos
Yeah.
Virgos are going to have fun with that. Virgos are going to have so much fun with that this year. And that may cause some of your problems, though. People might come back at you. Just remember, TikTok can be vicious. So be careful if you're bringing it out in TikTok, because I do see Virgos calling people out.
Okay. All right. So would you like to move on to Libra?
Let's do it.
All right. So Libras, Saturn is going to be transiting your fifth house. This involves your children, your creativity. It also involves speculation. Okay. So if your kids are driving you crazy, know but this energy is just testing you as a parent. Just parent the kids you have. Don't try to push your objectives on them. Try to work with them and try to find some harmony with them. And definitely take deep breaths before reacting because it's going to be a bit of a difficult year with the kids. Creative blocks can also occur in this position. Okay, so if you have a book or project that you put your heart into, Shani, who's Saturn, is going to make you work extremely hard to get that going. It can still happen, but it's going to take a lot of hard work and dedication on your part. And this is also not a great time to invest in the stock market for you, okay? Or any forms of gambling. They're not going to go too well, all right? So some positive energies. You've got Jupiter going through your sixth house of service, pets, and hidden enemies. This isn't the best energy because it can cause expenses, it can cause health and problems, enemies at work, and death. So keep an eye on your health and your wallet. Um, and then let's see, then after the 21st, he'll be going into your seventh house of marriage. This is the good energy. This is if you're looking to get married or enter a new relationship, it's fully supported. If married, this energy can bring about more marital bliss and increase happiness. But the main thing I got for you this year, dear Libras, is you need to be more candid. Your throat chakra needs to be expressed. Okay, Libras are all about sitting on the back burner and trying to find balance in their relationships, balance with their friends. You need to be more candid. You need to call people out for what they're doing and who they are.
I'm
Okay, because
realizing as you're saying that one of the reasons why they're having trouble with their kids is because they're not drawing proper boundaries.
bingo.
They're being too easy. They're being too, let it go, let it go. Don't worry about it. Don't say nothing. Don't do nothing. And then the kids are driving them crazy because the kids
Mm-hmm.
don't know what boundaries they should be following. So the main issue here for Libra is, as you said, speak up, say what's on your mind, say what you know. To take the time to explain to the kids what it is you want, what you need from them, and also be willing to discipline them. And if you say, you're going to be grounded if you don't do that, or you're not getting, your TV time if you don't get that done, or whatever it is, if stick to it. You got to be
Yeah.
sticking to it. Because I think the main problem with Libra is, I guess, it's not speaking up. That's really it. It's not so much that they're Mr. and Mrs. Nice Guys, because they think nasty thoughts. So I'm not necessarily saying that. Um, but you're creating your own reality here. You're creating your own problem by not saying what your boundaries are. And that's this lesson. This year is about stepping out, telling the kids to sit down. You got 15 minutes over there, and then we'll go out. And we're
Yep.
not going to get ice cream if you keep bugging me. So pick one. Quiet,
Yep.
behave yourself while I'm doing this, and then I'll go. So and if they don't listen, don't take them for ice cream. Just don't. So I think it's a really important time for Libra to develop the inner strength, their courage to speak up and not, I are you really serious if you don't tell a kid what to do? You think they're not going to like you? Let me tell you a little bit. I was an early childhood educator back in the day, and I did not take crap from kids, and kids loved me more than any other teacher. And that's
Mm-hmm.
because I was fun with them, but I did not take their nonsense. And they knew my boundaries, and they accepted them, and they treated me with the respect I deserved. And that's the lesson Libra has to learn. Don't try to be too nice so that people will like you, because they won't.
Nope.
Just be yourself and get what your needs are. And as far as love and finding
Spirit.
love and being in a happy situation, if you draw those boundaries and you stay true to yourself, you'll find yourself super, super happy. I do want to address this card.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Sun card, and it's in reverse. I'm being guided to say that many Libras may have some difficulties with some underlying depression problems, confidence problems, self-esteem problems, those kinds of things. And for you Libras who are experiencing what we're talking about, who have already experienced it in the past, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, please know that you might have an undercurrent of depression that you need to look at and take some time with. And there's lots of ways to do it naturally, such as St. John's wort, meditation, getting outside, getting light on your head. Because seasonal affective disorder could be a really super real thing, and sometimes it can go right on until May.
Mm-hmm.
So take some time and look at the truth of who you are, and you'll find it easier. overall. I will say that I think Libra has a lot of unresolved past traumas. And I honestly think Libra is too proud to look at them, and that this year will help them do that. And I can say that, you know, if by doing it, I think you find lots more love for yourself and for others. And that's why you probably will get into a relationship if you're not already.
Oh yeah, Tamara, I pulled the Mercury card, so that goes right in line with communication and being candid. And then the energy I got for Libras is take on that Queen of Air energy. Just take your emotions out of it. Be very objective in your decision making. Clear away what no longer serves you. Okay, you can do this verbally, and see the humor in the situation as you go through it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because like you said, I got the reverse renewal card. This is the reverse judgment card. The judgment hasn't been that great because you haven't been speaking out and standing up for yourself and setting those boundaries. But once you do, I got the lovers. So
That's
that
what I'm
goes hand in
saying.
hand with what you just said. And it goes
Yeah.
and it's alignment with the astrology as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I feel that strongly that Libra is going to be drawing some lines in the sand, hard lines, making sure people know what they expect from others. And, instead of just accepting what comes, they're going to be saying no to this and no to that. And that's a powerful word. That, in the witchy ways, we say the word no itself is actually a form of protection.
Yes,
So
it is. It
that was
definitely
good.
is.
So the
Oh,
next
yeah.
sign is.
The next sign is Scorpio. Okay, Scorpios. So the Saturnian energy you can expect this year, and this is after the 17th, is going to be in your fourth house of real estate and family. Okay, so your efforts regarding a new home or anything involving your new home will be tested through delays and blocks. This can also bring issues with the mother because the mother rules that fourth house. This energy causes, yeah, so just practice patience with mom, check in on her. Saturn can also cause hard times, a financial crisis, and adverse circumstances in this house. So you may be afraid of breaking relationships with your mother or wife. If you're experiencing these issues, obviously contact Tamara and I for remedies. And then the Jupiterian energy that you can expect is really interesting. It's going to be in your fifth house of children, creativity, and speculation. So this energy is going to improve many areas of your life. Your relationship with your children will flourish during this time. Your creativity can bring rewards. So if you're thinking about doing that book, creating that art piece, really using that divine creativity that's within you, it's encouraged. Okay. You're also being encouraged to play more. Get out and play. All right. And if you're trying to get pregnant, the energy's supported.
Whoa,
Okay.
is it ever? Is it
Yeah.
ever? I was like, I'm waiting to say any Scorpios that are looking to get pregnant, this is the year.
Yep.
This is
It
the year.
is.
And any of you Scorpios who maybe don't want to get pregnant but still want to have kids around, this is the year. And
Mm-hmm.
any Scorpios that want to work with children, maybe become teachers, anything to do with children and communities type of work, maybe somebody who's working with mothers, working with like maybe Children's Aid Society, stuff like that. Any of you
Mm-hmm.
who are aligning with anything to do with children, anything, this is the year it's going to happen. It is going to happen. This is it. And also, if for those of you who are not looking to become parents, for instance, work. You're going to birth your energy. This energy is going to come up and show up in your workplace. And there will be the only thing that is being warned here is that you have to balance work and play. Just as my friend said, you have to balance work and play because play has been very limited in your life. This is
Mm-hmm.
part of the reason why I think children are coming in to bring you back to that place because a lot of you Scorpios get stuck in producing, in creating change for the universe. You guys are amazing people, but you seldom turn the tables and look at yourself. Okay, so this is going to be a year of you making sure that you're getting your needs, that you actually nurture you as
Mm-hmm.
well, right? Nurture yourself. And I do see mother issues coming up, but it's not just um, how do I say that? I think a lot of you Scorpios do have mother issues. I'm going to say it that way. I think in general, plenty of Scorpios have mother issues. So this is going to be a good year to clear them, to identify them, to, even if your mother's not there, let's say she's passed, this will be a good year for you to write it down, to sing it out, to art it out, to talk it out, to communicate it. Whatever. This is the year to clear it, to move forward, to understand it better. Okay. And I do think that there's going to be, this is a nice card. I think that whatever you put out, you're going to get back. Whatever you put out there, whatever you put into the universe this year, you're going to get back. Keep that in mind. So put out good. Put out good, because you don't want to have crappy things come back at you. And overall, I like this card for the whole year. I say 10 of Cups is the thrust of the year. So it's a good thing, except for this one card. This is the only card I don't like. The Moon card in reverse. If you have, and this card comes with it, the Nine of Cups, if you have a codependent issue, if you have codependence, if you have lies that you've been telling yourself, self-deception, well, maybe you're not telling your whole story about who you are as a person. Maybe your lover doesn't really know everything about you and you really want to tell them. You go ahead and do it. This is the year you'll get away with it and they won't hate you in the long run, okay? This is a year to speak up, to tell the truth. The other thing I want to point out is if you don't want to tell your story, you have a right to privacy. You do not have to tell your story to anyone. I don't care if they're your lover or your husband or your wife. Your past is your past. And as long as it doesn't affect your partner, it's okay for you to have a private life. I know that may not go well with some of you, but that is what I'm being told to tell you. You are entitled to privacy. Okay?
That's a very Scorpio thing. Scorpios are all about their privacy. Yeah, I got that being truthful with yourself will lead to enlightenment.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really going to open a lot of doors for you to just being truthful with yourself, being truthful with others. I did get that there are some plans that are going to need some revision this year for Scorpios, and there's going to be more going on that meets the eye, and there may be some poor timing. But, the main thing you mentioned is codependency, addictions, things like that. After April 21st, this door will be wide open for Scorpios.
Oh,
And
good. Good.
it's also a really good time to get a pet.
Yeah, and you know what?
So,
That pet will go with a possible house. That's another thing I saw. I do
yeah.
see the possibility of rehoming yourself into something more stable or something more long term or something more yours. So if you have it, let's say you're thinking about buying a house, there might be some pitfalls that you have to navigate, but it still has value and should be considered.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So you're ready to move on to Sagittarius.
Let's do it.
Okay. All right. So, Sagittarians, you will be completely out of what's called Sati Sati on the 17th of January. That is a very good thing. And Saturn is going to be transiting your third house of self efforts. So you will feel as though a large block has been lifted off of your shoulders. You've been dealing with this energy for a long time. 7.5 years is how long Sati Sati lasts. Okay. So basically, now Saturn is moving you into a new realm of living and being, and he's going to help you improve your communication as well as your discrimination skills moving forward. Okay. He's encouraging you to pay attention to the way you think this year. All right. And also, this is a good time to learn how to discipline your mind and discover new ways of expressing yourself. That's the main energy that you're getting from the karmic teacher. Now, as far as Jupiter's transit, Jupiter's your main planet, Sagittarius. So you really want to pay attention to what he's doing. All right. He's going to be in your fourth house of real estate and family. And there are going to be gains from real estate and property for you, which is excellent. This is a really great time to make improvements to your living situation, and your relationship with your mother can improve during this time too, if that's something that you're looking for. Now, after the 21st, Jupiter is going to enter your fifth house of children, creativity, speculation. This energy improves many areas of your life, okay? Your relationship with your children can flourish here, and your creativity, again, can bring rewards. You're also encouraged to play more, and again, after the 21st for Sagittarians, getting pregnant is supported. So it's before the 21st for the Scorpios, and it's after the 21st for the Sagittarians.
Good. I think I see what you're saying about the 7 years. I have a
Mm-hmm.
Seven of Wands there in between the Chariot and the Star card in reverse. Both of them were in reverse,
Mm.
Chariot and Star. So it tells me that things have definitely not been going in the right direction for you for a good 7 years. And
Mm-hmm.
I actually know a couple of Sagittarians who I can concur that indeed is a true fact. And they have had hell in their lives in so many ways. And I'm saying that I see this year clearing it. And not a full clear though, not a full clear. I see it as a possible. They're sort of like the gopher, get their head out. They're going to come out from underneath the ground. They're going to come out. They're going to pop their head out, and they're going to take a look around. And a couple of things they're going to be looking for is new education, or learning something that's going to bring them money. Okay, or learning maybe new jobs, or learning some new skill, something that they don't already have. Okay, that's what I see, something new for them, something new. And that's something that has been speaking to their soul. So for the 7 years that they've been sort of in this hole in the ground, they've been thinking about what they coulda, shoulda, woulda. And
Mm.
this is the year they're going to bring it out. This is the year they're going to go, yeah, maybe I should try to do that. So if you've been thinking about any kind of new education, this is a good year to step into it. Make sure it comes from your heart. Make sure it's passionately connected to it. Make sure your soul speaks of it, and you will find it a good thing. A little concerned about a few things. Be really careful not to jump the gun in making any quick decisions. That's what I'm being told here. Anything that would involve you, let's say, moving, or even getting into a love affair, um, don't make any quick decisions, because you'll be the fool in the end if you do. So, and it's part of the reason is because you're, like I said, you're coming out of being isolated for a long time, and your decision making skills aren't perfect this year. And I'm just going to say it really loud. They just aren't. Your best bet is to regroup, to go inside, to pull inside new education. Now, I want you to go out to learn it. I'm not saying you should stay at home and just do it on the computer. I really would rather see the Sagittarian engaging and getting back out there, because you need the practice. You know, you just need the practice, because your skills in communicating, your skills in gathering, they've faltered. COVID has kind of affected you, and not just COVID, but the last 7 years have really affected you. COVID was just the icing on the cake. So you have some, you got to step out, but I want you to be really careful about not jumping into anything. What do you think of that, Michelle?
Well, what's interesting is when you were saying that, I got a confirmation. I got Mercury and Uranus.
Mm-hmm.
Uranus is all about striking lightning into our lives so that we re-innovate and we change the way that, in this case, speak, because that's the way we
Right.
think about things, the way we intellectualize things, the way we communicate is really going to be tested this year for you, Sagittarius.
Mm-hmm.
Uranus is going to throw some unexpected events, some lightning strikes into your life, but these are all good. I liken Uranus to, like, let's say you take the same way to work every single day, and then there's a crash or a detour or a major construction thing going on, and you're forced to go completely around and
Yep.
in another direction to get to where you need to be. But then you discover this whole new area of town that you never really experienced before,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a new cafe, or maybe even bigger, like you find like a kitten on the side of the road and it becomes your familiar. What Uranus does is he redirects us so that we are on the right path. He creates a tower moment followed by the star. Okay, so
I
that's the main
also,
energy.
yeah, I also got that some of the things you need to be careful of is old issues with family.
Mm.
Old issues with family, they may come to the surface, and you may make quick decisions, and that's what I don't want you to do. And I'll give you an example so you get it. Let's suppose the Sagittarian has had to live with their parents, and they're in their 40s or 50s, and you really don't want to live with your parents, but you have had to. And then let's say something happens, something's revealed, you get angry, you get upset, and you make the quick decision to move out. It's a bad decision. Do not make decisions quickly in the heat of any anger or any irritation. That is what you will feel sorry for later. And I see some Sagittarians doing that. this
Hmm.
year and screwing themselves up for another year. So I'm warning you. I'm warning you. Don't make any quick decisions, especially in a haste. Then you will avoid that vibration that is there. Don't forget, this is for sun, moon, and ascendant Sagittarius people.
Excellent. All
Mhm.
right. So are we ready to move on to Capricorn?
Yes.
Yay! Okay, Capricorns. So Saturn is going to be transiting your second house of savings. Okay, you're going to need to identify your financial and personal goals and construct a plan to make them happen. Shani will also make you work very hard to take a more practical approach to what you do. I do see money coming for you, but you got to organize it in a very productive way. Okay, Capricorns? Additionally, Jupiter is going to be going through your third house of self efforts. Okay, so if you're looking to change your health, open a new area of study, or improve your communications through literature and philosophy, your hard work will be recognized and highly rewarded this year. Okay. Your relationships with siblings can also improve, and this is a good time to take small trips. Okay. Now, after April 21st for you Capricorns, I've got that he's going to enter, Jupiter's going to enter your fourth house of real estate and family. After this time, you're going to be able to make some gains from real estate and property. And this is a good time to make improvements to your living situation, work on your home, and your relationship with your mother can improve. And the image that I actually got was like creating an add-on for mom to come live in. And so it's kind of like a more family communal environment. You're going to be providing for your family members, which is a really excellent energy to have. Rosie agrees. It's my dog. But the cards I got were North Node, Jupiter, and I got the sixth house. Now, we have something called the Guru Chandala Yoga this year that comes to a peak on May 26th. Okay, that's when Jupiter and Rahu are in the sky together. And what Spirit is asking you to do is enter the realm of service, karma yoga, giving to others without any expectation of reward, because that is really going to help you pay off some karma and do some amazing things in life. And remember that when you serve, do a little bit at a time. Don't wear yourself out. But the main thing, it says there will be the granting of a full-time job. So if you're looking for a full-time job, that's going to head for you this year, but it needs to be in service. There's going to be success and blessings from serving. You can benefit from good fortune, but you need to do a little bit of a time and not really don't don't create a burnout situation for yourself, because I know Capricorns, all you do is work, 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 do, take care of other people
Yeah, I'm getting some warnings
and
there
your
too, just so
family,
you
or
know.
just you're very career orientated.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm getting some
And so
warning
when you
signs
do the
there too.
service
Sorry,
to others,
sorry
oh
about
yeah,
that.
go ahead. Yeah, no, that's now is just time to grow and expand in service, but like prevent the burnout. Practice those boundaries. Yeah, go ahead, Tamir.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I am getting that
That's
some
fine.
of our Capricorns will already feel burnout. And this is the
Yes,
year
you've
they
had
have to
a hard
decide.
time.
They have to decide. I got the Tower card, okay? And this is the year they're going to
Mm,
have to decide what isn't serving their highest good for real, okay?
yeah.
And what they can no longer put effort and energy to. This is not a bad thing. The Tower card's a hard thing, yeah, but it's coming in the first part of the year. So this is going to give you an opportunity to go, I am done with this. I don't want to do this kind of stuff. I want to do this. And
Hmm.
then so what you got to do is you literally got to end what hasn't been serving you, and you got to focus on what you can do. So you said service orientated, mostly where the jobs will be for
Hmm.
people that are Capricorn. I do believe what I'm seeing here is there are some who have been over servicing, meaning
Hmm.
they have worn their bodies out, they have worn their minds out, they cannot do this work anymore. So what can those people do? If you used to be, let's say you used to be construction, or let's say you used to be, some a builder, something like that, maybe you're going to have to change your job to an inspector, or an architect, instead of actually doing the service orientated. You monitor the service workers. So this is something you may have to change in this coming year. If you're a burnt out Capricorn, that's a say that, just say it that way. I don't see you being burned out and thrown to the wayside. I see you burnt out and fighting to go on top and figure out how you're going to manage all the wisdom that you've carried, all of this intelligence that you have, all of this leadership skills that you have. What are you going to do with it next? I see many of these types of Capricorns putting their best foot forward and coming into authority type positions, leadership positions, CEOs. Um, I don't know what you call the main contractors, the big guys, the big shots. You guys are going to be putting yourself in the big shot seat, and and I am supposed to tell you this one last thing here on this one. Well, there's more, but this particular one last thing on this is it's lonely at the top. It's
Hmm.
lonely at the top, but there's a lot more money, and as long as you can give and be generous and kind, you'll still be feeling really good about yourself. And then you'll still attract the good people, the right people around you. See, so go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just listening. I married a triple Capricorn, and you are absolutely correct. He wears himself out and has to go do something else. Like he was in construction carpentry, which is such a Capricorn job, right?
Yeah,
And then he had to move into real estate, and then from real estate he moved into
yeah,
computer programming. And that's what Capricorns, you guys can do anything.
yeah,
Don't let other people tell you what you can and
yeah,
can't do. You are some of the most multi-talented
yeah.
individuals. That's because Saturn rules you. And Saturn is all about that 10th house energy, all about that career. And you've been gifted with so many talents and abilities that don't be afraid to leave a job that has you burnt out and try something new that's a little less stressful on your body or whatever part that
Mhm,
you
mhm,
overuse, whether it be your emotional state or your physical state or your mental state. Move into another area of study where you can be of service. Yeah, that's
mhm.
beautiful, Tamir.
And you know what? It also, because the Capricorn is so multitasking,
Mm-hmm.
they can overlook more than one type of job. So it sort of shows me, that's why I sort of see you at the top of the construction company, for instance, and you would be monitoring the plumber, the electrician, the carpenter, the whatever, all those different jobs that are in there, because you have the skill to multitask, and you also have the knowing to keep an eye on all those things. So this is going to be a really good time for Capricorn to let go of where they've been at and upgrade. Plain and simple.
Oh yeah. That's what I love about Capricorns. My Western sign is Leo, and I married a triple Capricorn, and people are like, "Oh, wow, you guys must battle a lot." And I'm like, actually, we're like boss when it comes to business. We get along so well. Like he lifts me up, I lift him up. It's fabulous. And that's something that's really great about the relationship with a Capricorn is they will never let you down. They are reliable as heck.
My
So,
my best friend is a Capricorn,
oh,
and I'm a Leo. So you're right.
yep.
We get along really good, And she worked with me as a manager in my store for many years, and she had my back like nobody. Nobody has ever come close to her and having my back. So I
Oh yeah.
absolutely agree with you on the Capricorn thing. They're good people. I think that one of the things Capricorn has to look at though is you need a team so you don't burn yourself out. You
They
need a
don't.
team.
They take on all the work
Yeah,
themselves, and that's the main issue I have with
yeah,
dealing. I don't know if you had this with your best friend, but I consider my husband to be my best friend, and he will burn himself out. And I was like, "You have a wife. I'm over here. I can
yeah,
help you." Like I've got a lot of energy. Like involve me. And he's been doing that. Like we've been married for 7 years now, and he's still learning to do that because he's so used to doing everything himself and doing
yeah.
everything for others that
Yeah, so team is super important.
it
And
really
another
is.
good thing about that is, if you have a team, then they have family and they have friends. So one of the things about Capricorn is once they get involved in business, they actually don't spend a lot of time having fun. So the good
Hmm.
thing about having a team is that everybody has their friends and family, and that group will become your family. So when there's special holidays, you'll all get together and have a barbecue. All the people you work with and their
Yep.
families. This will become your family. This will become your go-to people. So I'm being told to say that, with a team, you'll also get a community. And it's really important to look at that. And also, if this is a good time for Capricorn, if you are a Capricorn with money, if you're a Capricorn
Hmm.
with money, this is a good time to share that, to spread it around, to get in business with other people, to invest in something with other people. Not just go and buy your own crypto and all of that, but maybe, you know, um, support someone younger than you, someone smart, someone that you feel really good about, that you think if by supporting them that you're going to give them a long-term life plan.
Hmm.
Support that person, because there's nothing better for Capricorn, nothing better for Capricorn than to know they helped create a solid foundation for family, because that's what you guys are about. You're about solid foundation for family. So if you can help one of your kids, if you can help your best friend's kid, do it.
Oh yeah. Capricorns, they're the providers, they're the dads. They
Mhm.
step in and provide that role for the collective. It's a really beautiful,
And
beautiful
that'll be
sign.
this year. This year they'll be
Yeah.
doing that. And that'll make them feel really good about themselves. So whatever challenges the Capricorn faces, I see I see betterment in the long term anyways. Like they'll battle right through it. I mean, whenever I see Capricorn having a problem, I know if Capricorn has a problem, they're gonna get out of it.
Oh yeah.
I have a lot of faith in Capricorn getting out of trouble.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And I love that both of our best friends are Capricorns.
Yours too, eh? Well, your husband, right?
Yeah, yeah, I married my best friend. So that's what you want to do, right?
No, I don't want to marry her. No, no,
No,
no.
no, I mean like you want your husband to be your best friend.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
geez.
It's
Well,
actually funny. It's
we
actually funny
managed to hit
because,
all. Oh, go ahead.
sorry, we have a little lag there. Just in closing, I have on my mirror in my bedroom, I have been calling in a Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus. Although really, I'm not calling in Taurus, but Virgo or Capricorn, I could live with. And I would like to meet that type of a man, because I think that's the one that's right for my soul for a lot
Hmm.
of reasons. And so I'm waiting for that type of energy to come forth, and we'll see. Maybe it'll be this year. That'll be nice.
It would, it would. Yeah, and I married. He has a Virgo moon, my husband. So I can
Oh,
tell you,
perfect.
they're great. They're
Yeah,
fabulous. They keep us grounded. They keep us
yeah,
on task. And I
yeah,
love their analytical, career-based minds. It's
yeah.
just great. All
So
right.
we got through all the signs, and
We did.
I want to just finish up a few things before we go anywhere. So what I got for the whole world, for the whole world, I pulled some cards from the medicine deck, and look at this card that showed up, the bat.
I saved a bat.
Did you
Yeah, I
recently?
did. A few months ago. Yeah, he hit a window.
Good girl. Because
Yeah.
this says that you're going, instead of dying, you're being reborn. So the
Mm,
energy here is birth, death, rebirth, that type of energy. Bottom line is transformation and change. Okay, so we can expect that as an overall. This particular year is going to bring changes like you have never seen all over the world, not just where you live. Pay attention. There are some serious changes happening everywhere. We're talking about, when I say this, I'm talking about the collective government, the collective of the people, climate, the world. I mean, you spoke of the axis changing.
hmm.
And now, what does that mean? What does that
So
mean to you?
that's when the lunar nodes switch signs, and that's going to happen this year. Both Rahu and Ketu, which is the south node and the north node, are going to change signs, and what they cause are the eclipses. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, eclipses reveal secrets that then enforce like major radical change on a collective level.
That's right.
So exactly. We're going to move from the Aries Libra axis and into the Virgo Pisces axis. Okay, yeah, so that's going to be really interesting. Virgo is all about, solidifying, making sure that our health is intact. It's the more analytical side of our existence. It's very grounded, very here. It's very protective kind of energy. I like to liken Virgos to, that's the time of the season in the year where you have to protect the crops, where you have to protect the herd from predators. So that's that energy. And then Pisces is just this incredible, beautiful, spiritual 12th house energy that's going to come out of some of these eclipses and really um, bring forth a new level of spirituality to the collective. And there you go.
The grouse card is,
Mm,
and people don't know about the grouse, but let me put it to you this way. To me, it's one of the most spiritual animals out there, because it tells us and reminds us to go inside and listen to our own heartbeat and to get
mm,
in rhythm with our heart. and to heal with the sound of our heart using drums and rattle and rhythm and those types of things. So this card says that this year is about every single person getting into the rhythm of what's happening around us, within us, and for us, and at us. So this card is going to be about you feeling your way through as opposed to pushing your way through. So you're not going to be coming from here so much as you're going to be coming from here this year, and you're going to feel it, and you're going to remove boundaries, things that get in your way, and you're going to identify boundaries that need to be in your way. So this is going to be a good year for you to create boundaries, to let go of old boundaries, to put in place security things, to open yourself up. So getting out, out from underneath the COVID conditioning, and it's so wonderful that we get to finish with the wolf,
Oh, it's
because
perfect.
it's the wolf moon, and I did not set this up. I swear I did
Oh.
not. It was the next card. And so what this says is, for those people who are not speaking their truth, for those people who are not following their path, for those people that need healing, for those people that don't have teachers, for those people that don't and haven't found their pack, this is the year to start working on it. And I mean, work on it full thrust, 100%. Go for it. You can, today is the full moon. It's a good
Mhm.
idea for you to step outside and speak to it and ask it for its assistance in helping you become the best you can possibly be, because we haven't been our best, and we all need to learn to do better, and the wolf moon will do that. If you saw my post that I made with the little child, Scottish child, speaking to the moon, did you see it?
I'm trying to think about which one that was.
No, you
Maybe,
wouldn't have
maybe
you
not.
would have
Okay.
you would have known.
Okay, I'll
Just
have to look that one up.
a couple hours ago I posted,
Okay, that's
um
why. Gotcha.
yeah, yeah, about this little boy who was speaking to the wolf moon. I want you to go to my page and look at that one. I was advertising that you and I were coming together, as well as
Hmm.
Tara Green and I, tomorrow, and I used that as a duet, and the little boy speaks to the moon about exactly what you should be speaking to the moon about. So if you want to know how to talk to the moon, if you don't know how to communicate to our grandmother, to Grandmother Moon, that little boy will teach you. That little boy, who's probably 3, will teach you how to speak to the moon. And that's the bottom line. Is this year is about getting in tune with where you're supposed to be on the hierarchy list. Like the wolf is all about hierarchy. There's a hierarchy in the clan of the wolf. The strongest and the most fierce wolves are first. Then the elders are behind them, and then the teenagers, and then the children, and then the mothers. And a few of the teenagers, they kind of go around the mothers and keep an eye on them. But if you watch a wolf pack, that's how they organize themselves. And there's always runners. That's why the teenagers can go in the back. Those teenage dogs, those teenage wolves, they are runners. They go back and forth, and they sort of, they gotta get out of line a little bit, like a teenager should. And but they yip and yelp and make sure the leaders know any changes that might be happening or any danger that could be coming. So the point I'm making here is, know your place in your circle. Know your place. Live it. Learn how to be in it. Don't just, if you've been a leader all along, like I've been a leader all along, okay? And I'm now coming into my crone days. And my son is now coming into his leadership. And I have to learn how to step back and let him be the leader. And this is one of the teachings of the wolf is humility. Then this is how we use it. We step back into our rightful places. So, it doesn't matter that I was a leader for all my life. I mean, I'm still a leader, but in a different way now. Now I'm protected, right? Ah, thank you, Moondog. That was awesome. Thank you. So yeah, it's about learning your position, learning your place. So, as a wolf, the energy for everyone is wolf, wolf moon, wolf medicine, wolf teachings. And the wolf is about finding your tribe and working with it. So that's what I think this year is going to be about, finding your tribe and working within it, finding your healing and doing the work, finding your besties, and finding your place in the universe. So I think that we have lots of awesome opportunities ahead. And for those of you that get involved in the revolution, please make sure I know what you're doing, because I'll support it, and I'll share it, and I'll spread it everywhere, because it's time we take our countries back, everyone.
It is. Yeah. And just to go along with exactly what you said, I pulled the harmony card.
Uh,
So finding harmony within our packs and our communities and our environments and our families, and finding that oh, someone said great night learning. Thank you. Oh, you're
you're
so welcome,
welcome.
Moon
You're
Dog.
welcome, my
Yeah.
dog. Yeah.
Yeah, so and then I got Taurus 12th house and Scorpio. So Taurus rules our material realms, how we view the material. The 12th house is seeking oneness for what all there is. It's our spirituality. And then Scorpio is all about getting into the secrets of things, resurrecting things that are long held secret and dealing with them in a very extraordinary and transformative way.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an amazing year for all of us. And yeah, thank you for having me on, Tamir. I really enjoyed this and reading with
Oh,
you. And
yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's always a
wonderful.
pleasure.
I'm so grateful to have you here. We'll do it again next time, and I'm going to figure out how not to have you so little. I
Yeah.
really want. I don't know what happened. I must have hit something when I'm learning, and I must have hit something that changed it to do that when I chose the guest thing. I know what I did wrong, and I won't do it next time. But you know what? Maybe you and I should come in once a month and do a climate for the month, and just
Okay.
maybe that'd probably be a good idea. Oh, thanks, Moondog. You're awesome. Appreciate it. Yeah, that was it was. I love reading with you too. Just so you know.
Oh, yeah. And
Yeah.
someone said one tiny diny. Well, okay. Anyway, oh, that's cute. Well, I'm really, really, yeah, this has been amazing. And I just, the number of likes I'm seeing, the number of people on, it's just amazing how many people we were able to reach tonight and share all of these amazing new year
Yeah.
messages with. And yeah, please follow me at Astrological Tarot.
I was just going to say that
So,
for those of
yeah.
you that are listening, I would really hope that you follow my friend Michelle here at Astrological Tarot, and make sure you go and look at her videos and give them a watch over and a like and a comment. That'd be really helpful to her.
Oh.
She took a little break in TikTok, and I just stirred the
Mhm.
pot and got her back in. So please go respond to some of her stuff and get this lady back up and running, because I think your information is so right on, so valuable, and I'm very grateful to work with someone of your caliber. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And do you want to end with a mantra to the moon?
Let's do it.
Okay. Om Shram Shrim Shram Sa Chandramasaya Namaha. Jai Chandra. Okay.
Thank you so much for everything, and for all of you wonderful people that have come to join us today. Please make sure you're following me, and go and follow my friend, and you'll see all the wonderful things that we'll be doing. And just as a closing, remember tomorrow we'll be doing something very similar again with another friend of mine, Tara Green from Tara Tarot. And for those of you that don't know, I have a White Wolf coven that is open to all of you. Go to my website at tamarawhitewolf.com and look for the workshop or the in the area of workshop, the witchcraft one on the White Wolf Coven, and join if you're interested. It'll only be $5 for each session. I plan on doing 2 or 3 of them a month. And for those of you who are really into learning more about magic and the way the universe works, and we'll talk about so many things from tarot to astrology, and doing ritual and ceremony for the Sabbats and the moons. Eventually, we'll have it all up on Patreon too. So please go look for that. And I've got a couple of workshops that are already happening. Some tarot. I'm doing shamanic stuff and some herbal stuff, and drum making. All of these things are coming, and you'll find them all on my website, as well as my friend here, Michelle, has a website as well. And All of her events and things will be listed on there, and she's doing some really awesome things. So I'm sure you want to make sure you're connecting with all of us on our websites. Most of our stuff is on our link trees, on our bio. So please go have a look, and you'll be able to connect with us again later. Thank you so much for joining us today. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy 2023. And if you are having trouble with your life and you need more information, booking a reading with myself or my friend Michelle is the way. Okay? So please make sure you do that. Okay? Take good care, everyone. Lots of love. Lots of love. Take care. Bye, everyone. Have a great night. See you again.